Hare Krishna Mataji. Okay. We welcome once again Her Grace Prema Bhakti Ras Mataji. Mataji has already taught us earlier. Now Mataji will take 10 to 6, chapter 4 to 6. Thank you so much, Mataji, for accepting our invitation. We heartily welcome you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I hope my voice is clear.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. So I thank all of you for giving me the opportunity. So let's begin with the prayer. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padkamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Sapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Shri Govindaya Namo Namaha Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai Srila Prabhupada Srila Gurudev ki jai Ananta Koti Vaishnav ki jai Hare Krishna everyone. So I would really be happy if all of you kindly switch on your videos. Thank you, Antaryami Balram Prabhuji and Rukmani Harisedni Mataji and Geeta Krishna Prabhuji. If others can also switch on, it would be very nice. So, if possible, it is good. So, ours is Canto 6, chapter number 4, 5, and 6. So, before we start, can somebody just recap what we did before? What is the flow going on?
Hare Krishna Mataji, can I?
Yes, please.
Please have my humble obeisances, Mataji. Really feeling good to have your association again. Mataji, we started Canto 6 last week, and in 2 sessions we covered 3 chapters: chapter 1, chapter 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and there was a pastime of Ajamil. So, how Ajamil was a Brahmana, born in a good family. He was having a good parents, and he was serving his parents. He was having a very chaste wife. Everything was doing good. He was doing his rituals also. He was somewhere like a, but somehow for a service, for a yagya, he went to the forest to collect the wood or
Thank
something. But that time he's. Am I
thank
audible?
Yeah. But in short, you can say the glories of the holy name by the episode of Ajamil, right? How one
Yes.
deliver himself.
Yes. Last thing was this only.
Yes,
In
yes,
last chapter, actually, it was like all glories of the holy name. That how holy name is so powerful that just by just chanting the holy names, one can deliver oneself.
yeah. Even unintentionally, this is the glories of holy name is presented with the story of Ajamil. And how the Ajamil story came suddenly, anybody can connect?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Priya
So,
Satyabhama.
Mataji, we were talking about when we finished Canto 5, we were talking about hellish planets.
Yes,
And then from there, the conversation continued where Parikshit Maharaj was asking about the sins and the various hells and this and that. And then that ways it got connected to Ajamil and his fall down, and how his fall down was, got him into a situation where he had to face Yamadutas. And then, because he called out his son Narayan, not the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the son, so Vishnu Dutas came, and there was this whole conversation, the whole pastime, unfolded like this.
yes, exactly. Correct. There was so detailed description of this hellish planet that one will get fearful. How can we be saved? How can we, be delivered? So that question and then answer was yes. By chanting the holy name, it is possible to, get rid of or get away from all these hellish planets, and we can achieve the goal of, going back to Godhead. So that was the story. Now, fifth canto, mostly, actually, let's start from before, because how the story goes, If you go back to fourth canto, basically, it starts with the first Manvantar, Swayambhu Manu, and his family. So by now we know Swayambhu Manu, how many children he has? Swayambhu Manu has how many children?
3, Mataji.
Yes.
2 sons and a daughter.
Yes. How many daughters and how many sons?
2 sons, Mataji, and I think 7 daughters.
Yeah. If you see fourth canto, 2 sons and 3 daughters. This is the
3
family
daughters,
of
okay.
one. Yeah. 3 daughters are Devahuti, Akuti, and Prasuti. And their family, was described. And then 2 sons, mainly Uttanpad and Priyavrat, their dynasties were described. So Uttanpad, Dhruva's story. Dhruva and, mother Suniti and Suruchi and all that episode. So fourth canto, it starts with this, of course, Swayambhu Manu's family, and then in detail, Uttanpad's family lineage. Okay. So most of the part you will see Dhruva, and then Prithu Maharaj, then Prachini Barishit, and then Prachetas, right? That's how we ended the fourth canto. This is the family dynasty of Uttanpad. And we will see, now today also we will discuss a little bit what happened before, how we came to this story now, what we are going to discuss. So Prachini Barihi and Prachetas, they basically, they went for austerity. They did not rule. So, so Brahmaji and Swayambhu Manu, they called for Priyavrat, who already gone for austerity. So fifth canto starts with Priyavrata family. It's the family. If you see, this is the fifth son of Swayambhu Manu, matlab, the second son basically, fifth child. So fifth canto, first part is all the dynasty of Priyavrat Maharaj. Priyavrat Maharaj, Agnidhara, Nabhi, then Lord Rishabdev, then Bharat Maharaj, Jal Bharat, and then next half is about this geography, Jambu Dweep and so many, till the hellish planet. And that's how in fourth chapter we ended with the family of Uttanapad in his dynasty, Prachini Bari and Prachetas. I hope we remember this story. Little bit we will refer whatever is relevant for today. But that's how the story goes. So the family lineage with Prachetas stopped there. And who was born of Prachetas? Anybody remember? Who was born of Prachetas?
Daksh.
Exactly. Daksha. That's how the next story, today's is Daksha and his children and other things, how he created. So after this story of Ajamil and glorification of the holy name, how we can be delivered. The next question Parikshit Maharaj asked is continuation of the ending of the fourth canto. Because all this is done now. The next topic he wants, where we stopped, he wants to continue. So we also will continue. As I said, after describing the dynasty of Uttanapad, now we know 3 daughters, Prasuti, Akuti, and Devuti. That was a description in the beginning chapters of 4th canto. And then about Uttanapad, later chapters from 8th chapter to 31st chapter, which is all his dynasty. And then Priyavrat Maharaj, 5th canto. Now coming back again to, Parikshit Maharaj is asking, because that ended with, Prachini Barishat, Priyavrat having the son Daksha. So in canto 6, Parikshit Maharaj asked, as Rukmani Bhari Mataji said, how we will be delivered if there's so much hellish things, story of Ajamil. And then basically this 6th canto is about Poshanam. There are 10 topics. We discussed already in 2nd canto. What are the 10 topics?
Asargo Visargo Vasthana
Yes.
Putaya Bhirmantarasthana.
Yes. Atra Sargo Visargash Nam Poshanamutaya Manvantari Shanukata Nirodha Mukti Ashvani. So this Poshanam, the 6th canto mainly talks about Poshanam, means giving protection. So chapter 1, 2, 3 is about how Supreme Lord protects his devotees by holy name. These are already. Now what we are going to see in 4th, 5, 6 chapter is how Supreme Lord protects his devotees by his darshan. We will see this. Darshan of his, form. And then later chapters you will see how Supreme Lord protects his devotees by Shabda, Narayan Kavach and other things will come later. But in our section, how Lord gives darshan, and he protects his devotees basically. So as we move on, we will discuss more and more. And I hope we remember this concept about Manvantara, because this will come. So one Manvantar has about 71 Divya Yugas, right? And one Divya Yuga means? Yes?
43
Chaturyug.
lakhs.
Four Chaturyugs.
One Divya Yuga means all 4
Chaturyugs.
together, right? Yeah. So, Chaturyug, yes. So like this, there are 14 Manus in one day of Brahma, right? So, this canto 6 is about Poshanam. And second thing, Parikshit Maharaj, he is going to ask about Visarga. What we left, we want to continue that topic. So how Prajapati Daksha, Visarga and Sarga, now we know, the Atra Sargo Visarga, like that. So Sarga means the original creation done by the Supreme Lord. Everything, the ingredients and other things. And Visarga is, now ingredients are ready, Brahmaji has to use them and create. Living entity he has to give suitable body according to their karma, that is Visarga. So Visarga is the creation by Brahma and his descendants, right? All the Prajapatis. So Sarga happens before the birth of Brahma, and Visarga is happening in every day of Brahma. Like this is a detail we have already done in second canto and third canto also. So let's start our verses, and we will. This is a background, This is little background, and we will touch more to understand it clearly. So what I would request, we are about 17 of us, So one person can recite 4 verses and then goes to the next person, right? Or 5 verses we can take. One person can recite 5 verses and the next person recite 5 verses. So 1 verse at a time, but one person can go on for 5 verses, yeah? So anybody can start 1 and 2 together. We have to do it very.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes.
May I?
Yes, please, madam.
Mataji, may I read the shloka or the translation? Chapter
Shloka,
one. I mean,
comfortable, it would be nice. Sri Rajo Vacha
Shri
Devasura.
Raja Uvacha Devasura Nirnam Sargo Naganam Mriga Pakshinam Samasikas Tvaya Prapro Tasyaiva Vyasam Ichhami Gyatum Te Bhagavan Yatha Anusargam Yaya Shvan Para. Translation. The blessed king said to Shukdev Goswami, "My dear Lord, the demigods, demons, human beings, nagas, beasts, and birds were created during the reign of Swambhuva Manu. You have spoken about this creation briefly in the third canto. Now I wish to know about it elaborately. I also wish to know about the potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by which he brought about the secondary creation."
Yes. So he wants to know more about this secondary creation or a subsequent creation. So he heard about Visarga and descendants of Swambhu Manu in Canto 3, 4, and 5, before. Now he is inquiring, I want to hear about subsequent creation in detail. So, how Daksha's birth from Prachetas, he will explain, and how he's doing austerities and pleased Supreme Lord by Hamsa Guhya prayers. The chapter name is Hamsa Guhya prayers, and we will see what is it. And then further Lord's instructions. So basically, what happened? Fourth canto. Half of the Swambhu Manu Manvantar period was ruled by descendants of Uttanpad, right, in fourth canto. And like Uttanpad, Dhruva, Prithu Maharaj, Prachini Barishat, and Prachetas. And remaining half of Swambhu Manvantar was ruled by Priyavrat in fifth canto, we see. Priyavrat Maharaj, Agnidhara, Nabhi, Rishabdev, Bharat Maharaj, Gaya, and then the description how he, divided the geography basically. And they all ruled till the end of Swambhu Manvantar. And then comes other Manus. So there are 14 Manus. So first is Swambhu, and then Uttam Manu, Raivat Manu, Tamas Manu, and so on. So what happened in the middle of, this introduction is important to understand the bird's eye view. Therefore, we have to understand this. So in the middle of Swambhu Manu, Prachetas, they went to some ashram, Jajuri ashram, which we discussed in fourth canto, for austerity. And they met Narad Muni there, and they attained perfection. And Daksha, who got birth from Prachetas, that time he also went to the forest to do the austerities. And he did austerities for about 4.5 manvantara. This is really great. He already got birth from Prachetas in Swayambhu Manvantara. This is the first one. And then till other Manvantaras, he was doing austerity. So Daksha really did a great austerity. We will discuss why, The Prachetas, those who are mentioned here in this chapter, they are from Swayambhu Manvantara, what we ended in the 4th canto. But it is Daksha who has come back now. So we are talking about Daksha, but we are connecting it how he came. So this is a starting of Chakshusha Manu. And he has to start the creation now. So that's what Parikshit Maharaj is asking, how the subsequent creation happened. Please explain me more. So third verse, somebody can, yeah, Madhavi can recite. Madhavi, third verse. I cannot hear. Yes, third verse.
श्रीसूतवाच इति
श्रीसुत
सम्प्रश्नम् अकर्षत्
उवाच इति राजर्षेर्बादरायणी प्रतिनन्द्य महायोगी जगाद मुनिसत्तमाः. Translation: Sud Goswami said, O great sages assembled at Naimisharanya, after the great yogi Shukdev Goswami heard King Parikshit's inquiry, he praised it and thus replied.
Yes, thank you. This is very common, you must have observed by now. Whenever the inquiry is happening, the first thing is, it is praised. So here also, Pratinandaya, the question is praised. Oh, very good question. Why? Because the more we will discuss about Krishna Katha, so it is very worthy. This question is very good. So he praised and thus replied. It's very, very common. If somebody inquires, it gives us the opportunity to speak about Krishna. So he praised. Text number 4.
श्रीशुकवाच यदा प्रचेतसः पुत्रा दशा प्राचीनबरीशः अन्त समुद्रमुन्मग्ना ददर्शुर्गं द्रुमेर्वृताम्. Shukdev Goswami said, when the 10 sons of Prachin Bari emerged from the waters in which they were performing austerities, they saw that the entire surface of the world was covered by trees.
Now here the story continues. So we need to know the background. And Prabhupada gives little background. When King Prachini Bari was performing Vedic rituals, okay. So before that, Prachini Bari, his name was actually Barishat, Prachini Barishat. Why he got this name?
Because he has done so many yagya in the east direction and the pusa grass open east direction. That's why Barhi Prachi. Barhi.
Yes, exactly. His name was Barishat, but he was then called Prachini Barishat because he was always doing yagya, one after another. And this yagya, the kusha grass is pointing towards east. So Prachin is east. So Prachini Barishat. And Narad Muni is always very merciful. So Narad Muni, he went to Prachini Barishat and he kind of preached him. And how he preached? Anybody remember? What story he said?
Purana Upakhyan.
Yes?
Puranjan Upakhyan, Mataji.
Yes, exactly, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Puranjana story. With this allegorical story, he tried to teach him the right lesson, So, Canto 4, we did this chapter number 25, 26, 27, 28 about all, how Prachini Barishad got enlivened. And then he left for austerity. So that's how when King Prachini Barishad was performing Vedic rituals in which killing of animals was recommended, Narad Muni out of compassion advised him to stop. And Prachini Barishad understood and then left the kingdom to perform austerities in the forest. And before that, when he got the son, the 10 prachetas, he already told them to, increase progeny. And for that, the prachetas already went to do austerities. See, this was the system. For even increasing the progeny, we have to do austerity. So prachetas already went to do austerities. And in the meanwhile, Prachini Barishad was ruling the kingdom, and Narad Muni came. One point, Prachini Barishad said, okay, you are right. I understood what you want to say, but let me wait for my sons so that they can come and rule. But that Narad Muni told one more story and he convinced him, and then he was ready. Okay, no more waiting for my sons. I will go now. So that's how what happened. The king, Prachini Barishad, was also gone for austerity. The sons, 10 prachetas, were also gone for austerities. There were no one to rule the kingdom. That's why Swayambhu, Manu, and Brahmaji went to Priyavrat. You have already renounced me, no, but please come back. And that's how the 5th canto starts. You please come back and rule because there is no ruler. So they called for Priyavrat. But the point here is, his 10 sons, however, were performing austerities within the water, and therefore there was no king to see the management. And when they came out, it was full, with trees and herbs and, weeds and everything. So this is the time when there was no ruler in between period, Now, little bit going in the previous chapter, Prithu Maharaj, in the Dhruva dynasty, of course, Prithu Maharaj had this son, Antardhanu. We remember Prithu Maharaj, he's famous for 99 yagyas, right? He could not do 100. He wanted to, but Indra got upset, so he was asked to stop there only, So his son was, whenever Indra used to come to, steal the horse, this Antardhana, this Vijitasva, his name was Vijitasva because he always used to get back that horse from Indra. So, and then his son Harivardhan, and his son is Prachini Barishad. So this was the family dynasty. And Prachini Barishad, why he was called Prachini Barishad? Prabhuji answered nicely. And now he had his very beautiful wife called Shatadyuti. And this Shatadyuti was so beautiful that even in the marriage, Agnidev got attracted. So this is all we have done in the previous cantos. I'm just revising. So, anyway, now this Shatadyuti and Prachini Barishad got these 10 sons called Prachetas, and they were very good. They all went for austerities and, performed austerities for 10,000 years. Very, very long. For what? To increase the progeny, to get the favor of the Supreme Lord. Because their father asked to have progeny. So to get the favor, they went to the forest and did austerities before getting into begetting children business. And when they went to perform the austerities, Prachetas met their guru. And who was their guru? Yes?
Lord Shiva.
Exactly, Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva was very happy and pleased to see them and gave them the instruction, which is called as to pray.
Rudragit.
Very good. Yes, Rudragit. So that he gave. There's a beautiful description in Rudragit, various qualities of the Supreme Lord and so on. And while Prachetas were engaged in this severe austerities, getting inside the water and chanting these prayers. As I said, Prachini Parishad was ruling, and then Narad Muni came and preached him also, and he also went. So he explains him very nicely that what is the purpose of Vedas. You are doing Vedic rituals. Better know the purpose of Vedas is to know the Supreme Lord and achieve Him. So that's how, when Prachetas came out of their austerities, because there was no one to rule, all the trees and all the weeds came out. It was full jungle. Prabhupada writes a beautiful explanation. When the government neglects agriculture, which is necessary for production of food, the land becomes covered with unnecessary trees. So in one line, if we say, everywhere trees with lots of weeds means mismanagement. There is no ruler. So government has to see. And why? Useful trees has to be kept because it gives nice fruits and flowers, but unnecessary trees should be removed and used as a wood for fuel, and it has to be cleaned for agriculture purpose. This is the duty of a government. It should be done. But when there is no ruler, nobody was controlling and nobody was doing anything. So when the government is negligent, then all this happens and less grains are produced. So Prabhupada is explaining the duties of a Brahmana, Kshatriya and Vaishya. It should all go on. So it's a duty of a Kshatriya to see that all, the citizens, the trees, the Vaishyas and everybody is getting, protection. So let's go further. 5th verse. What happens when they came out and they saw all jungle everywhere, So 5th verse. Mataji can continue till 5 verses, one devotee can continue, and then next.
Hare Krishna, may I?
Yes, Mataji.
द्रुमेभ्यः क्रुध्यमानास्ते तपोदीपितमन्यवः मुखतो वायम् अग्निं च ससृजस्तद्दिदक्षया. Translation: because of having undergone long austerities in the water, the Prachetas were very angry at the trees. Desiring to burn them to ashes, they generated wind and fire from their mouths.
See, they did so many austerities, they become so powerful from their mouth. They generated wind and fire. They have undergone so much austerities. So Prabhupada says, persons who have undergone severe austerities, they get a lot of mystic power. And they have done a lot of, the austerities means underwater, no eating, no sleeping, like that. So they created fire and wind from their mouth to burn all these trees. Now someone can say, they have done so much austerities, why they are so angry? You may ask, right? When we do austerity, we should, austerity means pleasing the Supreme Lord. Actually, there are different kinds of austerities, which is explained in Bhagavad Gita, right? Austerity in mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. All three. They are detailed, we can read later. But like Hiranyakashipu, Ravan also did the austerities. But austerity is in mode of, mode of ignorance, So mode of passion, mode of goodness, there are different kinds of austerities. Here also, they were nice devotees, but devotees also have different levels, like, here they did austerities, they followed Rudra Gita, they prayed to the Supreme Lord, but they got angry. Anybody can ask why they got angry. So the Acharyas give the reason. Because they are the rulers, so it's their duty to rule as a Kshatriya. So they have to make place for agriculture so that the grains can be produced and the food is supplied to the citizens. So to provide the food for the citizens, it was necessary as a Kshatriya also to clear the things. But the problem was they were too much angry. Prabhupada writes here actually, the useful trees, I think in the previous one, the useful trees should be kept and the unnecessary weeds should be taken out. But what they did, in angry, they were trying to burn everything. So a few shlokas, the reason is given, how, who came and stopped. So we will discuss it there later. But here, this is a lesson. When we become too much angry, then also is not good. Little anger for the service is okay. And like Ravana and Hiranyakashipu also did austerity, but when they were taught that this is wrong, you don't do this, they did not listen. Right? Ravana, you return back Sita, he did not listen. And Hiranyakashipu the same way. But Prachetas were devotees. When moon god came and said, "Stop this," they stopped. They listened. They were not at the level of Ravana and Hiranyakashipu. They were at least devotees. So we should see from that angle. They were better because they were having some devotional qualities. So, like Dhruv Maharaj, what happened to Dhruv? When his brother died, what he did? Who was his brother and how he died?
He
was killing the yakshas. He was killing the yakshas.
All the Yaksha dynasties, correct? Which was not good. Sarva, Manu, Brahmaji, they pacified him. It is not good that because of one you are, killing all, right? So he understood. So that's the characteristic of a devotee. So even advanced devotees sometimes do mistakes, but then they listen. When the devotee, when counselor, when guru, acharya, or they hear something from super soul, they correct themselves. That is the characteristic of a devotee. So they carried away maybe, but then they come back and they listen. So that's what Prabhupada says. Devotee, when they do tapasya, that is to please the Supreme Lord, not for any other gain. That is a real devotee. Yes, Dare Krishna Prabhuji.
Mataji, I have a question. Already you given the nice explanation for this. My question is this: if they went for the tapasya, the land being ignored, so it is also duty of the rulers to give proper protection or whatever it's required for the land. But they went for the tapasya and they had not appointed anyone, and then they're coming back and then getting angry. Doesn't seems good.
Yes. Rulers should do their duty, right? Yes. So coming verses, we will get the answer. They went for the higher purpose, of course, as we already discussed, to increase the progeny. They went to do the austerities, to purify themselves. And in the meantime, Prajani Parishad also got. So this happened because of this reason. And let's move ahead. We will get the clue. We will get the answer, Prabhuji. Otherwise, we will come back to this question. So, Prabhupada describing the qualities of a devotee, of a Vaishnava. Vaishnava means by austerities, they should become humble. That is the true, pure Vaishnava. What is that verse of Upadeshamrit? Vacho vegam, mansa krodha vegam, jiva vegam, udropastha vegam. So all these vegs should be controlled, right? And it should become humble. Austerities should make us humble, not proud or not arrogant. Okay, let's go to the first verse. Says Hiranyakashipu, Ravana also performed austerities, but they did so to demonstrate their demonic tendencies. And here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, especially for us, we are in Brahma Madhva Gauriya Sampradaya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, always be humble. This kama esha krodha esha rajoguna samudbhava. This calm and growth comes from rajogun. We should not be angry. This will lead us to hell. So we should not be angry. In our preaching, many difficult situations, provoking situation comes, but we should be humble always. That is our secret. Those engaged in preaching should be humbler than a grass and more tolerant than a tree. Then they will be able to preach the glories of the Lord without difficulty. So, real true devotee means humble, humility. That is the key for advancement. Otherwise, we will remain here, Like we will discuss in further also, Devotee tells, there's the bhakti in different modes. Bhakti itself is pure, but the performer is, in mode of goodness or passion or ignorance or Shuddha, Vishuddha Sattva. So let's move to 6th verse. Yeah, somebody can respond. 6th one.
May I?
Yes, Mataji. So
6th
next
verse.
you will write. Yeah.
Okay. ताभ्यां निर्दह्यमानां स्तान् उपलभ्य कुरुध्वः राजोवाच महान् सोमो मन्युं प्रशमयन्निव. Translation. My dear King Parikshit, when Soma, the king of the trees and predominating deity of the moon, saw the fire and wind burning all the trees to ashes, he felt great sympathy because he is the maintainer of all herbs and trees. To appease the anger of the Parchitas, Soma spoke as follows.
See, so like every like Ganga ji has a predominating presiding deity of Ganga Devi, like similarly moon has a presiding deity, moon god Soma. He is the king of trees and predominating deity of the moon. When he saw, he felt sympathy because he is the maintainer of all herbs and trees, and so he started speaking. So in one way, moon god Soma is trying to counsel Sachetas. We give counseling, right? When somebody is going here and they're off track, we give counseling. Counseling means bringing them back to the real original path of devotional service. So he's telling, he starts telling. Let's read verse number 7.
नद्रुमेभ्यो महाभागा दीनेभ्यो द्रोग्धुमर्हथ विवर्ध यशवो यूयं prajanam patayah smritaha. Translation. O greatly fortunate ones, you should not kill these poor trees by burning them to ashes. Your duty is to wish the citizens, prajas, all prosperity and to act as their protectors.
Yes. So he is reminding him of his duty. You as a leader, you should not, you should basically protect them. Act as a protector. So in the last purport, there's one point of discussion is scientists say there are no life on the moon planet. But here, Prabhupada says, how can we accept this so-called scientists, that there are no trees or vegetation on the moon? Soma, the presiding deity of moon, is the king of all vegetation. So how can he does not have fruits and vegetables? And how can we believe that the maintainer of vegetation has no vegetation on this whole planet? So basically, we understand to whatever extent, or we may not understand completely at this point of time, but we should accept the scriptures. That is what we understand. Srila Prabhupada says we have no capacity to prove everything. But you have no other choice also. So accept. So yes. So he started counseling that it's your duty to protect. Don't be angry and kill all, at one go. And Prabhupada says Vaishnavas should not think even in mind to kill someone, to hurt someone. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Raimagai story, Nityananda Prabhu says, you have not come to kill anyone. You have to kill the demonic mentality. So what one has to kill is his false ego. Otherwise, when we cannot give life, we cannot kill anyone. This is a general rule. So in Srila Prabhupada time, one devotee, he came and he was very much, too much, arguing, and I want to eat meat. Why we should not eat meat and this and that. Prabhupada was trying to very, with his different explanations, he was trying to explain, and he was trying to teach him that, see, we sow seed and seed grows, and we get fruits and flowers that we can offer and eat because we have grown it, but we cannot give life to a dead animal, so we cannot take their life also, this and that. He was still, that person was still very, very stubborn, and I want to eat meat. So Prabhupada said, okay, if you want to eat meat, cut your son and eat. And then he stopped because he was not able to understand that, they also have emotion and feeling and family and this and that. So Prabhupada said one sentence, and then he understood. He said, cut your child and eat, and he was quiet. So we cannot even in the mind think of, killing anyone. So this he is trying to explain. Who? The moon got so much to protect us. Yes, text number 8.
अहो प्रजापते पतिर्भगवान् हरि अव्ययः वनस्पतीन् ओषधीश्च ससर्जोर्जम् isham vibhuः. Translation: The Supreme Personality of Godhead Shri Hari is the master of all living entities, including all the Prajapatis such as Lord Brahma, because he is the all-pervading and indestructible master. He has created all these trees and vegetables as eatables for other living entities.
Yes. Supreme Lord, he's the master of all living entities. Here it is said, he is Vibhu, all-pervading, and Avyaya, indestructible. And he has given this, he has created all these trees and vegetables as eatables for other living entities. So there's a word here, urjam. Urjam means which gives energy. So like sometimes we don't eat grass directly. Cow eats grass and cow gives milk. So grass is also important, But urjam, it gives energy. Milk gives us energy. So cow eats grass and it gives milk, and we take that milk. So which gives us energy, fruits and vegetables and other things like that. Urjam. And grains, food. So all this is given by the Supreme Lord. We should if the Prachetas tried to kill them off, their own subjects would also suffer. Where if we kill and burn all the trees, where will we get food and grass and grains and other things? So you should not do this. In counseling, what happens? We give first to anyone actually. Here, as a Kshatriya, you are the father of the whole society, so you should give them protection. And second, you are as a Kshatriya, do the administration. Administration means, all the classes are working properly. Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, they all are engaged properly in their business. And then welfare of everyone. Welfare means not only, roti, kapra and makan, that means food, shelter, but spiritual welfare as well. This is also duty of a leader. So therefore, the Varnashram system, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, they are all properly situated and are engaged, going well in the citizen, everywhere. This is your role. So do your duty, don't burn them. 9th verse.
अन्नं चराणम् अचराय पदः पादचारिणाम् अहस्ताहस्तयुक्तानां द्विपदां च चतुष्पदः. By nature's arrangement, fruits and flowers are considered the food of insects and birds. Grass and other legless living entities are meant to be the food of four-legged animals like cows and buffalo. Animals that cannot use their front legs as hands are meant to be the food of animals like tigers, which have claws, and four-legged animals like deer and goats, as well as food grains, are meant to be the food of human beings.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. So, Jivo Jivasya Jivanam. This is the laws of nature. One living entity is the life or food of other living entities. But for human beings, unnecessarily violence is not allowed, is not recommended. It should not be committed only for sense gratification. It is committed or it is done as much as necessary, whenever necessary, not for self-gratification at all. Human being is not, it is said in Bhagavad Gita, not even unoffered food we should eat. We should not eat unoffered food in one way. Otherwise, we are eating sin, right? Yagya shishta shinha santo muchyante sarvakilvisha. Bhujyante te tvagam papa ye pachante atmaka. To that level, it is recommended for us. Whatever fruits and vegetables, also grains, what we are eating, we should offer and eat. What to speak of, killing someone and eating? It is violence. And here Prabhupada is telling, it's beautiful explain, the fruits and flowers are foods of insects and birds, and then how it goes ahead. The four-legged animals are those such as deer and goats, not cows. So Prabhupada says sometimes Kshatriyas go to forest for hunting, killing animals, because they have to learn that art. They have to rule. For that, they have to learn the art of killing. Sometimes they eat the animals also. So for them, lower animals like deer and goat is okay, four-legged animals. But not the cow, never the cow. Cow is worshipable. Cow is one of the mother among 7 mothers we all know. So cow eats those kinds of herbs which gives us nutrition. So we should not kill cow in any case. That's what he. Cows are never meant to be killed or eaten by human beings. Otherwise, what happens? Who kills a cow? He must suffer for as many years as there are hairs on the body of a cow. So much, so much suffering. Whether we know it or not, if we have done a mistake, we have to suffer. So the Shastra especially recommends Krishi Goraksha. The Vaishyas have to arrange for the food for the entire society by agriculture and the protection of cows. And that's what Prabhupada encouraged also, having our own farm and where we are protecting or maintaining the cows and doing the agriculture. Eat what you grow and grow what you eat, Prabhupada says. Yeah. So, 10th verse.
यूयं च पित्रान् वादिष्टा देवदेवेन चानघाः प्रजा सर्गाय हि कथं वृक्षान् निर्दग्धुम् arhatha. Translation: O pure-hearted ones, your father Prachin Barhi and the Supreme Personality of Godhead have ordered you to generate population. Therefore, how can you burn to ashes these trees and herbs which are needed for the maintenance of your subjects and descendants?
Yes. So it's a duty to maintain all and to provide food. Therefore, you should not burn them. Yes. We go to next 11th verse. Another good point here that he is telling. Yes. Somebody can recite next 5 verses.
May I try, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji?
Okay. From text 11? From
Yes.
text 11, Mataji? Okay. अतश्च सर्गामार्ग कोपम यक्षत दीपितं पित्रा पितामहेनापि जुष्टं व प्रतितामहैः. The path of goodness traveled by your father, grandfather, and great grandfather is that of maintaining the subjects, prajas, including the man, animal, and trees. This is the path you should follow. Unnecessarily anger is contrary to your duty. Therefore, I request you to control your anger.
Yes. So again, the same point, he's telling to control your anger and to follow your ancestors. And who is your ancestors? Like your father. Who is the father of Prachetas? Prachini Bari.
Prachin.
Right? Grandfather? Prithu. And great-grandfather, like all through Maharaj's dynasty people, so they are so nice. Prithu Maharaj is known for his ruling, He is who is Prithu Maharaj? He is actually the incarnation of the Supreme Lord, the ruling potency of the Supreme Lord. In great detail, it is described how nicely he ruled. Prithu Maharaj was very, very kind to all the citizens. And he performed many glorious activities with respect to ruling the kingdom, And also we have in our Shastras, Maharaj Shibi, to give protection to the citizens, right? How Shibi was very generous. A pigeon and a hawk came, and he wanted, we know all this story, right? Maharaj Shibi, Maharaj Ranti Dev, how they were protecting citizens. So he's telling your father, grandfather, great grandfathers all have done very nice job in ruling the citizens and in kingdom, protecting the citizens and ruling the kingdom. You also follow them. So I request you, control your anger. It is not good. Such a royal family has a prestigious position. You are coming in such a royal family, and they have all proved, so nicely they have taken care not only of human beings but animals and other lower animals and everyone. So the modern, sorry, that is the high standard of your family. So you please follow that. And Prabhupada says the modern democratic system cannot be exalted in this way because the leaders strive only for their power and no responsibility. But we see here in a monarchy, the king with the prestigious position follow the great deeds of his forefathers of ruling the kingdom. So the moon god Soma is reminding him, reminding them, the 10 prachetas. Yes, verse number 12.
लोकानां पितरौ बन्धो दृशा पक्षं स्त्रियः पतिः प्रज्ञानविक्षोणां गृहज्ञानां बुधः. As the father and mother are the friend and maintainers of their children, as the eyelid is the protector of the eyes, as the husband is the maintainer and protector of the women, as the householder is the maintainer and protector of beggars, and as the learned is the friend of ignorant, so the king is the protector and giver of life to all his subjects. The trees are also subjects of the king, therefore they should be given protection.
Yeah, the same point is continued. These 5 different categories they explain. Parents protect their children, always. Eyelids protect the eyes. That's how it is made. Husband protects the woman. Householder maintains the beggars. And Prabhupada writes here, beggars are not beggars like, unnecessarily, not doing any job. But beggars are actually sannyasis and brahmanas whom householders should supply food and clothing, So householders maintain beggars. And learned person is a friend of the ignorant. So these 5 categories they have explained. So the trees are also your subjects, your citizens, like you should give them protection. 13th verse.
13. अंतर्देहेषु भूतानाम् आत्मस्ते हरिरीश्वर सर्वतद्विषयीमीक्ष अध्वमेव वस्तुसितो ह्यसौ. The Supreme Personality of God is situated as the super soul within the course of the heart of all living entity, whether moving or non-moving, included man, bird, animal, trees, and included all living entities. Therefore, you should consider everybody as a residence or temple of the Lord. By such vision, you will satisfy the Lord. You should not angrily kill these living entity in the form of trees.
Yes, very beautiful. Antardeheshu bhutana. Antardeheshu, inside every deha, every body of bhutanam, of everyone. Atmaste Haririshwara. This Hari or Supreme Lord as Paramatma is residing should know that. So should not kill anyone. Prabhupada says, Vishwara Sarva Bhutanam Hrid Deshe Arjuna Tishtati. So whether it be an ant, so small, but the Lord is residing. In every atom, Lord is there. So Paramatma is situated in everybody's heart. So Soma told you have already pleased the Supreme Lord. Now by killing others, you should not displease him. Yes, text 14. I think, yeah.
14. यह समुत्पतितं देह आकाशन उल्बणम् आत्मजिज्ञासया यच्छेद स गुणान् अतिवर्तते. One who inquire into self-realization and thus subdues into powerful anger, which awakens suddenly in the body as if falling from the sky, transcends the influence of the modes of material nature.
Exactly, the modes of material nature. So as it was said, Kama Esha, Krodha Esha, it comes from Rajoguna Samudbhava. And also in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna told Arjuna what? Traigunya Vishaya Vedanis Traigunya Bhavajana. We have to come above these three modes. We should try our best, ignorance to passion, passion to goodness, goodness to pure goodness. We should try to uplift ourselves. And that is the process we are following in our devotional practices every day, sadhana, hearing, chanting, to uplift us, to come above these modes, to transcend the modes or the influence of these modes of material nature. So, and how Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavad Sevya. That is the key, Nityam Bhagavad Sevya, it will help us for sure to transcend the three modes, at least to uplift us wherever we are from that situation. So, otherwise, these three Vidam, Narkas Yedam Dwaram, it's door to hell. So, we should not get carried away with that. It leads us to degradation. And how we will be free from that? Prabhupada says by engaging in devotional service, devotional practices. Because otherwise, we will always be victimized by the modes and entangle ourselves more and more and more. So, 15th verse. Now the turning point comes.
Alam dagdaidrumaidrinai akhila nam sivamastu vah vakshi dosha varakanya patitve pratigih grihatam. There is no need to burn these poor trees any anger. Let whatever trees still remain be happy. Indeed, you should also be happy. Now here is a beautiful, well-qualified girl named Marisa, who was raised by the trees as their daughter. You may accept this beautiful girl as your wife.
Yes. So here's the turning point. He explained, specified the prachetas, and then accept this girl. Get married. Increase the progeny that way. Be pleased.
It's very nice offer, Mataji.
What is it, Prabhuji?
Very nice matlab, offer.
Okay, Prabhuji. So you should also be happy. Now here's a beautiful, well-qualified girl. That was their duty, to increase the progeny. So Soma got offered girl, Marisha, who was raised by the trees as their daughter. You may accept this beautiful girl as your wife now. One girl. For how many? 10 prachetas. Do you remember any similar examples of one girl having many husbands?
Draupadi Maharani.
Draupadi.
Yes, she has 5 husbands. But there, each of the husbands has, with Draupadi had one child. Here, you will see 10 prachetas with one wife. They got one son. That's Lord's plan. So, well-qualified girl Marisha, he offered to these 10 prachetas. And now, their conversation stopped and Sukadev Goswami continues. Verse number 16. Yes. Somebody can start now from 16 to 20. Maybe you can read all together. Yes, anyone? 16? Yeah?
Madhuri, shloka and translation both, or just translation?
What should we do? I think because of lack of time, shlokas are nice.
Maybe we can go through translation only.
Okay, fine. Let's go to the translation only.
So 16 to 20 all together, Madhuri?
One by one.
One by one. Text 16. Sukadev Goswami continued, My dear king, after thus pacifying the Prachetas, Soma, the king of the moon, gave them the beautiful girl born of Pramalocha Apsara. The Prachetas all received Pramalocha's daughter, who was high, very beautiful, who had high, very beautiful hips, and married her according to the religious system.
Yes. So they gave this daughter and this girl, Marisha, who was the daughter of Apsara, Pramalocha. and she was raised by these trees. That was a description given in earlier cantos. The Prachetas all received Pramaluta's daughter, who had a very high, beautiful head, and married her according to the religious system. So they all 10 Prachetas got married to this girl, beautiful girl, Marisha. Yes, 17.
Text 17. In the womb of that girl, the Prachetas all begot a son named Daksha, who filled the three worlds with the living entities.
Yes, thank you. So how he filled the living entity, how he filled the world with living entities, this description will come. But yes, he filled, and his name means what? Daksha. Daksha means expert. So he was expert in begetting children. He was very expert. I mean, really, thousands of children. We will see. So Daksha was first. Now here's some explanation what we did in introduction. Daksha was first born during the reign of Swayambhu Manu. But because of offending Lord Shiva, he was punished by having the head of a goat. We know this story. He got a goat head. It's shameful, no? It is very shameful. Getting a goat head. Such a big personality of Prajapati. Daksha was born from Brahmaji. So he had a Brahmana body before, and now he has a Kshatriya body. It is said because he offended Lord Shiva. No? So the whole story, Sati gave her a body and Shiva was angry and Veerbhadra came and goat head, and then what happened? Those insulted, he had to give up that body. It's an insult having goat head, roaming around with goat head. So he gave up to the body, and in the 6th Manvantar now, called the Chakshusha Manvantar, he was born in the womb of Marishi, this beautiful girl, as Daksha. So the 10 Prachetas, wife is Marisha, and they got a son called Daksha. He is the same Daksha. The Daksha returned. Like that. So, Daksha regained his previous opulence and again begot thousands and millions of children to fill the three worlds. We will see how in coming verses. His previous body has been destroyed, but he, the same Daksha, inspired by the supreme will, he created all the desired living entities in Chakshusha Manvantar. So 18th verse.
Text 18. Sukadev Goswami continued, please hear from me with great attention how Prajapati Daksha, who was very affectionate to his daughters, created different types of living entities through his semen and through his mind.
Yes. So, previous story we know, Daksha got a second birth now, right, from Prachetas. So immediately, Sukadeva Goswami continued, please hear from me the great attention of Prajapati Daksha, who was very affectionate to his daughters, created different types of living entities through his semen and through his mind. So, Daksha had sons also and daughters also, but the sons were all, by Narad Muni instruction, they all became brahmacharis. Later chapters will say. So apparently, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, apparently Daksha had no son. Because he had son, but they all went for austerity and they all took that path, for renunciation. So basically, Daksha had no son. And he created progeny with his daughters, So with his 19th verse. 19th verse, can you read, Matik? And also 20.
Text 19. Yes, Mati. With his mind, Prajapati Daksh first created all kinds of demigods, demons, human beings, birds, beasts, aquatics, and so on. Text 20. But when Prajapati Daksh saw that he was not properly generating all kinds of living entities, he approached a mountain near the Vindhya mountain range, and there he executed very difficult austerities.
Yes. So ultimately, he took shelter of the Supreme Lord. he was not satisfied, so he thought, first let me do austerity. So he got birth after this 4.5 manvantras austerities. He got birth again with, from Prachetas. And now for increasing progeny, again, he wanted to do some austerity. And he went to a mountain near Vindhya mountain range, one of the hill in Vindhya mountain range, and there he executed very difficult austerities. My God, so many austerities, earlier ages they used to do. 21 verse is, yes, somebody can say from 21 to 25. A beautiful place. 21. Who has not spoken? Everybody get chance. That would be nice. Yes, sir.
Okay, Mataji, I'll start. Tatra Gharmashana Nama Tirtha Papaharam Param Upsparshanu Savanam Tapasa Tosha Yaddarim. Near that mountain was a very holy place named Agamarshman. There Prajapati Daksh executed ritualistic ceremonies and satisfied the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari by engaging in great austerities to please him.
Yes. So there's a beautiful place, Agamarshanam. Agha means sin. And Arshanam means where sins are destroyed. So the place name itself has its meaning, So he was doing austerities there. Tatra Agamarshanam Nama Tirtha Papaharam Param. So, सारे पाप से clear होने के लिए he went for austerity. What path he did? The greatest path is offending a Vaishnava. He offended the greatest Vaishnava, Vaishnavanam Yathasham. So he has to do austerity. 22. Let's read the translation only, Prabhuji, without the Sanskrit now.
Okay. 22. My dear king, I shall fully explain to you the Hamsa Guhya prayers, which were offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead by Daksha, and I shall explain how the Lord was pleased with him for those prayers.
Yes. So the chapter name is the Hamsa Guhya prayers. So here it starts. He came to this mountain and he started reciting this Hamsa Guhya prayer. He did not compose it. It is already there in the Vedic literature. But Hamsa Guhya, Guhya means something secret, something special, right? Guhya. And Hans, jaise Paramhamsas, very advanced. So Hamsa Guhya prayer is special selected prayers. Hamsa Guhya prayers, special selected prayers to please the Supreme Lord, right? Actually, in the material world, or we see there are many kinds of prayers. Dhanam Dehi, Putra Dehi, so many prayers. But these Hamsa Guhya prayers are really special selected prayers to please the Supreme Lord. And really, he pleased and darshan also. So he did not compose that. Prabhupada is telling it is already there in the Vedic literature. So first Daksha was Brahmana because he came from Brahma, and now he is a Kshatriya. He came from Prachetas who were self-realized, and from verse number 23 onwards to 34, now it is his prayer, which is actually Hamsa Guhya prayers. The special selected prayers to please the Supreme Lord, Hamsa Guhya prayers. So let's say 23.
Text 23. Prajapati Daksha said, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is transcendental to the illusory energy and the physical categories it produces. He possesses the potency for unfailing knowledge and supreme willpower, and he is the controller of the living entities and the illusory energy. The conditioned souls who have accepted this material world, material manifestation as everything cannot see him, for he is above the evidence of experimental knowledge. Self-evident and self-sufficient, he is not caused by any superior cause. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto him.
Yes, very important point. Actually, these prayers are very technical. I mean, very, glorifying the Supreme Lord, that how he is the controller, maintainer, and, he is the supreme. So here in 23, it talks about distinction between the Supreme Lord and his material energy, Maya. For those people who think that I am the controller, I am the supreme, or I am matter, anyways, whatever they think, for them, adrishtadhamne. Adrishtadhamne means, oh Supreme Lord, you are unseen to those people who think that they are Lord, they are proprietor, they are controller, or they are matter. They are not the spirit. So because they think Guna Tattva Buddhi, they think that these material modes are real. Guna Tattva Buddhi. So Ashtaramne, they cannot see you. You are unseen to them. Like Krishna says, Naham Prakasha Sarvasya Yoga Maya Samavita. Muro Ayam Nabi Janati Loko Mam Ajam Avyayam. I never manifest myself to foolish people and unintelligent people, So when we are deluded by these three modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, we don't know. Krishna is not revealed. And we don't know that he is above these three modes, So at the end of third canto, when we see there was explanation, when Devhuti is asking questions, there are descriptions of various classes of bhakti. Devotional service there are different levels. So chapter number 29, if you go and want to see, verse number 7 onwards, there are explained three kinds of bhakti. There are many parts of bhakti in terms of different qualities. So actually bhakti is not tamasic or rasic or sattvic, but the performer is having this quality, as we already touched before a little bit, So tamasic, ignorance, tamasic bhakti. Bhakti is not tamasic, the performer, please make it clear. The one who is performing. So tamasic bhakti. One of the acharya, one of the preacher was explaining this point nicely, like what Devhuti was telling, these three kinds, tamasic bhakti, rajasic bhakti or sattvic bhakti, and then shuddha bhakti. It was asked and explained in the end of the third canto, right? Third canto, 29th chapter. And in fourth canto, all these examples was shown. Fourth canto, we see tamasic bhakti, daksha. Why tamasic? It is devoid of compassion. Intentions is not completely pure devotional service. So tamasic bhakti. The rajasic bhakti, fourth canto, Dhruv Maharaj. He wanted a kingdom better or higher. Rajasic bhakti. Sattvic bhakti is prachetas. Want to serve the Supreme Lord. And they did Rudra Gita and all. Shuddha bhakti is Prithu Maharaj. So we see whatever, the various classes of bhakti was explained, it was all elaborated also in fourth canto. Tamasic bhakti Daksha, Rajasic bhakti Dhruva Maharaj, Sattvic bhakti Prachetas, and Shuddha bhakti is Prithu's example. This was very good. So when somebody in ignorance, it's a lesson for us. When somebody in ignorance, although performing bhakti, but not trying to raise himself in better mode, then he will take longer time. He has to undergo severe austerities. He has to undergo so much trouble and long time. Ultimately, after many, many lifetimes and many, many struggles, everyone will attain Shuddha Bhakti. Those who have come in this path, they will attain Shuddha Bhakti. But which level we are in now, we have to see, So every time we have to try ourselves to come in a better mode. So, like Dhruv Maharaj also, he wanted the kingdom, better kingdom first. But when he saw the darshan of the Lord, then he said, no, I don't want anything. What I was asking. So like that, everybody will attain at the end Shuddha Bhakti. But if we don't try, then it may take longer time. So here it is said, one who is in this consciousness that I am the proprietor or I am matter, then Lord is unseen to him. Right? That's what Lord is saying. He is the supreme cause, and he's telling, let me offer my respectful obeisances to that supreme Lord who is unseen by those who do not accept him, those who think that he is the supreme. He is the supreme. That those who think that I am the supreme Lord or I am matter, like that. So 24.
Okay. Text 24. As a sense objects form, taste, touch, smell, and sound cannot understand how the senses perceive them. So the conditioned soul, although residing in his body, along with the super soul, cannot understand how the supreme spiritual person, the master of the material creation, directs his senses. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto that supreme person who is supreme controller.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji. So always this nama come, then let me offer in all his verses. So Lord is residing in everybody's body as a friend, like two birds. Prabhupada is telling, two birds residing in a same tree. One bird is eating a fruit, the other is watching, directing, witnessing everything. So individual soul and the supreme soul live together within the body. Although the individual living being who is compared to the bird that is eating is sitting with the friend, the individual living being cannot see him. He is busy eating fruit and enjoying or looking around and so on. He is not seeing the supreme soul. Actually, the super soul is directing the workings of his senses in the enjoyment of sense objects, but as these sense objects cannot see the senses, the conditioned soul cannot see the directing soul. So I lift my glass. I can see the glass, but the glass cannot see me, right? So super soul can see everything, but we cannot see the super soul because of our conditioning, because of our material senses. So in spite of the fact that Supreme Lord lives in our heart, exists in our body, Sakha Vasan, he's residing in a body as a friend, Sakha Vasan, second line says, Samvasatah Pure Asmin. So although he is reciting, but the living entity does not know him. Na yasya sakhyam. But Lord knows us all, like the example of a glass I said. So in this way, Supreme Lord is distinct from us, from us. We don't know. But it is because of the Supreme Lord's presence we are able to eat, think, walk, and everything. See everything. We are able to see because of Him, who is not seen by us. Like I can see the glass, but the glass cannot see me. Right? There's a process how Supreme Lord can be seen. Further verses it will come. Examples. Two examples are given in the purport. Somebody can say. In the middle of the purport, first is the sense object, cannot see the senses. Sense object, cannot see the senses. And second example, anybody can say?
Governor. Government.
Yes. Another example is, although ordinary citizens work under the direction of the government, they cannot understand how they are being governed or what the government is. So this is another example Prabhupada says, we are all working under the government rules, but they cannot understand how they are being governed or what the government is. Another example also similar, as the various servants in different departments of big establishment cannot see the Supreme Managing Director whom they are working for, the conditioned souls cannot see the Supreme Friend sitting within their body. Right? So this Paramatma is there in different forms. Golok eva nivsati akhilatma bhuto. Brahma Samhita verse. He is living in Golok also. Still he is present in every living entity. Now we know this, there's three Paramatmas. One is Kanodakshay Vishnu, Paramatma of the entire material realm. And then Garbhodakshay Vishnu, Paramatma of one material universe. And then Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, the Paramatma of every living entity, every living being, every atom. So let me offer obeisances unto him who is invisible to our material eyes. We cannot see him by our material eyes, but when we purify our senses, then we can see him, right? That is the process of devotional service. Let's move to text number 25.
Text 25. Because they are only matter, the body, the life airs, the external and internal senses, the five gross elements, and the subtle sense objects, form, taste, smell, sound, and touch, cannot know their own nature, the nature of the other senses, or the nature of their controllers. But the living being, because of his spiritual nature, can know his body, the life airs, the senses, the elements, and the sense objects. And he can also know the three qualities that form their roots. Nevertheless, although the living being is completely aware of them, he is unable to see the Supreme Being, who is omniscient and unlimited. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto him.
Yes, so here again, the point is conveyed is Lord is omniscient. He is present everywhere. There's no limit for the Lord, He's unlimited. But we living beings, because we have so many, so many conditionings, we cannot see him. He can also know the three qualities that form their roots. Nevertheless, although the living being is completely aware of them, he is unable to see the Supreme Being. So the Lord is there in every aspect of matter. Andantarastha Parmanu Chayantarastha. In matter also, he is there in the form of Brahman. He is present as Paramatma in every small living entity, but we cannot see him. So I think this prayer goes from 23 to 34. So we take a break now. We are almost in the half verses, 25th verses. There are about 50 verses in this chapter. So next half chapter we will do after a break of maybe 10 minutes. And then we continue, right? So hopefully we will finish this chapter today and the next two chapters tomorrow. So we come back at 5:40. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So, we continue. Verse number 25. We just read verse number 25. And in Prabhupada's purpose, Prabhupada says, material scientists can make an analytical study of the physical elements, the body, the senses, the sense objects, and even the air that controls the vital force. So we may calculate, these many things, but still we cannot understand that all these is the real spirit, all these, above all these is the real spirit source. In other words, the living entity, because of its being a spirit soul, can understand all the material objects because we are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. So we may, study and understand the characteristics of different material objects. Or when self-realized, we can understand Paramatma. Nevertheless, the living being, even if it advanced, cannot understand the Supreme Being, for he is Ananta, unlimited in six opulences. Now, to understand, like in 13th chapter Bhagavad Gita, there is Kshetra and Kshetrajna. Soul, this body, we are aware of our body to some extent. But Supreme Lord is aware of everything in our body and every other body as well. Kshetra and Kshetrajna. So, Kshetrajna, the knower of the body. Soul knows the body to some extent, but the super soul knows all the body completely, fully, So that's what it said. Somebody may know that Lord is in everybody's heart as Paramatma. He will come to that understanding. Okay. Somebody may come to know that Lord is there in every atom. It is Prabhupada is telling in the purpose. But like somebody may know because of practice of jnana and yoga, they may come to know about Brahman and Paramatma, but Bhagwan realization is very difficult. Bhagwan feature to know it is very difficult. Now we will see. We cannot understand this Bhagwan feature by our knowledge or scholarly understanding or such kind of qualities. The Supreme Lord, when we do devotional practices, it is said, Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagwan iti Shabdate. The Bhagwan feature is the Supreme. To understand that, to get into that is simple, but because of our conditioning, we make it complicated. Basically, it is easy, but we make it complicated. So Bhakti is getting the pure love of God is simple but not easy, because two things. First of all, our conditioning. I mean, this is explanation of next verse also. Let's read that 26th verse, the same 26th translation.
When one's consciousness is completely purified of the contamination of material existence, gross and subtle, without being agitated as in the waking and dreaming states, and when the mind is not dissolved as in sushupti, deep sleep, one comes to the platform of trance. Then one's material vision and the memories of the mind, which manifest names and forms, are vanquished. Only in such a trance is the Supreme Personality of Godhead revealed. Thus, let us offer our respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is seen in that uncontaminated transcendental state.
Yes. So the answer, what I was telling, like Prabhupada was telling in the previous purport that it is easy, one can count the atoms and this and that and realize Paramatma also, but getting into the Bhagwan feature is not so easy. How it is easy? Kevalya Swasansya. The word is there in the third line. Kevalya, with spiritual Swasansya, his own original form. So, who is realized, Shuchi Shadmani, who is realized only in the pure state of spiritual existence. So that purity is required, not by mental concoction, not by scholarly qualities we can attain the supreme feature, that is the Bhagwan feature. So when the mind has transcended these three states, Jagrat, Swapna and Sushupti, Jagrat state is awakened state. Swapna state is dream state. In what happens in dream state, where gross body is not active, we are sleeping, and subtle body is active. Therefore, we are getting dreams. Subtle body is working, active. And Sushupti is deep sleep. It is written here, Sushupti, deep sleep. That means our deep sleep means our subtle body and gross body both are sleeping, but the conditioned consciousness is there. Pure consciousness is not there. Conditioned consciousness. So that is deep sleep, Sushupti. When the mind is transcended all these three states of conditioned consciousness, then, so in these three states of consciousness, the mind is always agitated. Yeah. By different things of this material world, by different, allurements. It could be anything. So those who come to this position of samadhi, where this sampramosat, due to the destruction, that is the word, is Sanskrit word is given here. That means perception of the gross world and even the subtle ideas in the mind. When we become free from that, even the subtle ideas, then that Paramhamsa, that are beyond, Kunti Maharani says in her prayers.
तथा परमहंस
Yeah, Tatha Paramhamsanam.
अमलात्मनः भक्ति योग विनाशक कथम पश्येमहि श्रियम्.
Yes, Bhakti Yogam Vidanartham Katam Pashyamahi Sriya. So there is three words come, Paramhamsanam, Muninam and Amalatmanam. So here it is explained, Muninam are those who perceive till Paramatma realization. Atmanam is those who perceive till Brahman realization. And Paramhamsanam is those who perceive till Bhagwan realization. So, Kunti Maharani says, all these three, of course, he's telling how can a woman like me can understand, but here it is said, those who are free from all these perceptions, gross and subtle both, they, yes, Mataji, you want to say something?
Mataji, can you please explain once again a deep sleep, Sushupti, dreaming state, how it is different from dreaming state?
Yes, Jagrat state, Swapna state and Sushupti state. So Jagrat is awakened. Swapna is where our gross body is sleeping but subtle body is working. So we are dreaming. And deep sleep, it is said, Sushupti state, deep sleep means gross body and subtle body, both are sleeping. But we have the conditioned consciousness. So far, the consciousness is not completely purified. Yeah, this is Sushupti state, the deep sleep.
Does that mean like Sushupti state, you are saying that gross and subtle means mind, gross state, 5 gross senses, subtle. Mind, intelligence, false ego, or are sleeping in deep sleep. Does it mean like that? You said?
In dream state, the subtle body is active. But
Agreed.
in deep sleep, the subtle body is also not active. That is explained.
Not active.
Yes.
Means mind, okay. Mind is also, it's not thinking anything. Does it mean like that? But in the dreaming state, mind is active.
Yes. That's why we are dreaming.
So, and we are talking about the platform of trance, samadhi. So, does it mean, Mataji, like a deep sleep means a person is smartavya satatam Vishnu. So, like in this state, a person is like thinking just about Krishna in the deep sleep.
State here, it is when he has no thoughts about any gross thing of this world or any subtle ideas also of this world. Any idea, anything of this material world is not coming in the mind. That is that state. Yeah, so here it is said, Prabhupada says there are two stages. One is very easily understood by mental speculation and the other is Durjanya. The Rukmani Hariseti Mataji, you got the point so far?
The platform of trance, the samadhi state, the state of samadhi, will it come after all these three or what? Or at the third level, at Sushupti?
Yeah, let's read. When one's consciousness is completely purified of the contamination of material existence, gross and subtle, without being agitated as in working and in dreaming state, without being agitated in any state, one comes to the platform of trance. So when one's consciousness is completely purified, that is a samadhi state, that is a trance state. When in any of these three conditions, Jagrat, Swapna, and Susupti, all these three stages, he has overcome that. He has transcended that basically. That is the stage of samadhi. Yeah. And that will come by taking shelter of the Supreme Lord. That's what Prabhupada is explaining. We will see the purpose. You see, as long as one is situated in duality on the sensual platform, gross or subtle. You see the second paragraph, first line. As long as one is situated in duality on the sensual platform, gross or subtle, realization of the Bhagwan feature of the original perspective of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is impossible. Yeah. And how it is possible? Sevon mukhe is jivado. But when one engages his senses in the service of the Lord, then slowly we become purified. And by that purified consciousness, then we can, reach that state of samadhi, and we can be in trance and understand, or then once material vision and the memories of the mind vanquish. At that trance stage, it is written, once material vision and the memories of the mind are vanquished. Only in such a trance is the Supreme Personality of Godhead revealed. So we are practitioners, we are practicing. And only by bhakti it is possible to attain that Bhagwan feature. Already Prabhupada said in the earlier verse that Paramatma feature easy. But Brahman feature, to get realization of Brahman feature is also easy. But to get Bhagwan realization, it is not by our material senses that we can achieve. Okay, go to dictionary and find out. No. By doing pure devotional service, by engaging all our senses, slowly reaching in that platform. So bhakti is simple for the simple, but problem is our ego. Like Kunti Maharani says, Janma Aishwarya Shuta Shri. This is the obstruction basically. So it's a simple process. Bhakti is simple, but here it is said, we don't follow it nicely. Chanting is simple, but attentive chanting is difficult. Yeah. So the process is simple, but because of our conditioning, because we have made it difficult, Janma Aishwarya Shuta Shri, when we are going to office, we see, putting tilak, what other people will think, putting dhoti, what other people will think, we have all these obstructions. So, simple process of bhakti becomes, we make it complicated. What will people think if I chant loudly in the public place? So sometimes we hide our chanting, we draw some backdrop and we chant quietly. So, I would like to read, to emphasize this point, let me share something. Prabhupada is already mentioned in the purport, but one more verse will help us. Yeah. I hope you can see this. So Prabhupada has mentioned verse number 10:14:6, which says, one whose heart has, here. This is the fifth verse. One whose heart has become completely purified can understand the transcendental qualities of your Lordship and can understand the greatness of your activities. And in following seventh verse, he says, can somebody read this?
In time, learned philosophers or scientists might be able to count all the atoms of the world, the particles of snow, or perhaps even the shining molecules radiating from the sun, the stars, and the other luminaries. But among these learned men, who could possibly count the unlimited transcendental qualities possessed by you, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who have descended unto the surface of the earth for the benefit of all living entities?
So scientists can, record so many sun, stars, this and that, whatever. But who could possibly count the unlimited transcendental qualities, what you possess? So therefore, this Daksha is telling, let me offer my respectful obeisances unto that Lord who is seen in that uncontaminated transcendental state. It is not easy, very difficult. Easy when we purify our senses, when we take bhakti process. Otherwise, it is not easy. That's what Prabhupada is trying to emphasize here also. Yes. So text number 27, 28, can somebody read?
Mataji, can I ask something?
Yeah, please.
Mataji, it is written in the purport that the transcendental realization is above sushupti, deep sleep. Then it's likha hua hai, above gross experience and dreams is sushupti, deep sleep. And when one comes to the completely spiritual platform, transcending deep sleep, he attains trance, Vishuddha Sattva or Vasudev Sattva, in which the personality of Godhead is revealed. First question is Mataji this, and second is what is the meaning of situated in duality? You can please tell these two things.
See, what is the first question?
The question is, Mataji, that I asked earlier also, that it means that, of course, I don't have the realization, but just wanted to still want to understand the trance above gross and above gross experience and dream is sushupti, deep sleep. When one comes to the completely spiritual platform, so means how?
That means I said deep sleep. Deep sleep means your gross body and subtle body is not active, but your consciousness is not completely pure also. It is contaminated. So when that, this is the third level. The first is like awakened state. Second is your dream state. Third is your deep sleep state. And when you cross that also, that means when the consciousness, the contaminated consciousness becomes purified, then comes the state of trance, Vishuddha Sattva, Vasudev Sattva, where the Supreme Lord is revealed. That is written in purport also and translation also.
Okay, thank you, Matsi. And the next is Atak Shri Krishna Namadi Na Bhavet Kiram Indriya. So it's situated in duality. Duality means what, Mataji?
Okay, somebody can answer. Duality means what? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita also. As long as one is situated, this is, yeah, Prabhuji, please. Very good question, Mataji. Yes. Who is speaking? Duality means?
Mataji is asking what is duality?
Yes.
Means labhani. मेरा तेरा ये duality. द्वंद्व
Yes.
धर्म विनष्टा.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. शीतोष्ण, सुख दुख, लाभ हानि, जय पराजय, ये मेरा, वो उसका. All this is duality. And as long as we are in duality, on the sensual platform, gross or subtle, it is impossible to realize the Bhagwan feature of the Supreme Lord.
So if one should not be in the state situated in duality, so can you please tell the opposite? Na sukh, na dukh. So examples like.
In Bhagavad Gita, it comes, there are these three levels on the body level, mind level, and ego level. I hope you all must have heard in Bhagavad Gita. Like I ask you, Sukh Dukh, it is in which level? Jai Parajay, it is in which level? Heat and cold, it is in which level? Level means body, mind, and ego. So you have to match the following. Sukh Dukh, body के साथ है, mind के साथ है कि ego के साथ है? Love, what is that? Heat and cold. And third thing?
Heat and cold is of course body. And
Yes.
what is the third one?
Profit loss.
Profit loss, yeah. Heat and cold is for at a bodily level. And
Profit loss mind level.
okay.
And ego level वो कोई इज्जत दे दिया, कोई बेइज्जती कर दिया.
Yes. Man apman is at the
मान अपमान.
so all
Ego
these
level.
have to be free from duality. किसी ने मान किया, सम्मान दिया, okay. It's okay.
Thank
So this is Bhagavad Gita, wonderful, Krishna. So as long as one is situated in the duality, there's one verse in Bhagavad Gita. I just said, what is that? Krishna is telling Arjuna, come transcend these three modes. Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunya Bhavajano Nirdvando. What is that word? Nirdvando. Free from duality. There also this comes. Right? There's the Sattva. So always situated in pure goodness. Good. Thank you, Madhu. As long as one is in this duality, we will not be able to, Lord will not be revealed to us. We will not be able to understand the Supreme Lord in Bhagwan's feature basically.
And Prabhupada is saying one can come above when one engages one's senses in the service of Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. This is the solution.
Yes. That's what Prabhupada has given us directly.
Hmm.
So it's not simple क्योंकि हमको directly मिल गया है ना, तो हमको बहुत simple लगता है. Simple है, लेकिन उसको easy बनाने के लिए we have to put some effort from our side.
Yes. Okay. Okay, Maji, I'm reading the next. Just as great learned Brahmanas who are expert in performing ritualistic ceremonies and sacrifices can extract the fire dormant within wooden fuel by chanting the 15 Samidhini mantras, thus proving the efficacy of the Vedic mantras. So those who are actually advanced in Krishna consciousness, in other words, those who are Krishna conscious, can find the super soul who by his own spiritual potency is situated within the heart. The heart is covered by the three modes of material nature and the 9 elements: material nature, the total material energy, the ego, the mind, and the 5 objects of sense gratification, and also by the 5 material elements and the 10 senses. These 27 elements constitute the external energy of the Lord. Great yogis meditate upon the Lord, who is situated as the super soul Paramatma within the core of the heart. May that super soul be pleased with me. The super soul is realized when one is eager for liberation from the unlimited varieties of material life. One actually attains such liberation when he engages in the transcendental loving service of the Lord and realizes the Lord because of his attitude of service. The Lord may be addressed by various spiritual names which are inconceivable to the material senses. When will that Supreme Personality of Godhead be pleased with me?
Yeah. When will that time will come that he will be pleased with me? Many points in this verse. The two words together. Many points. So first, just as great learned Brahmanas who are expert in performing ritualistic ceremonies and sacrifices can extract the fire which is there in the wood. They don't use matchsticks. By using mantras properly, they can ignite fire. They can invoke the fire from the wood. Nowadays, in Kali Yuga, we need matchstick to ignite, right? But the great learned Brahmanas, they are expert in performing these ritualistic ceremonies, and they are good in extracting the fire which is dormant in the wood by chanting the 15 Samadhini mantras. So those who are actually advanced in Krishna consciousness can find the super soul who is situated in their heart. It is not easy, but one who is purified, who is advanced in his consciousness, in Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada says. So this Samadhini mantras, these are the prayers to Agni Dev, basically to shine brightly, to ignite. So these great Brahmanas can do that. And Krishna is already there inside, so pure devotees can see God also like that way, who like the Brahmana, who can ignite fire from the wood if he is expert in Vedic mantras. So if a devotee is expert in his devotional service, he can see the Supreme Lord. The heart is covered by three modes of material nature and the 9 material elements. this, and also by 5 material elements, and the 10 says this, total 27 constitute the external energy. Now, the great yogis meditate upon the Lord who is situated as the super soul Paramatma. You know, yoga, great yogis, they always meditate on the Paramatma in the heart. May that super soul be pleased with me. Now, the next point, which is important for all of us, is super soul is realized when one is eager. We should circle or underline this word eager. For liberation from the unlimited varieties of material life, one actually attains such liberation when he engages, again underline, in the transcendental loving service of the Lord and realizes the Lord because of his service attitude. So these 3 words are important for us: eagerness, engagement, and service attitude. Then we can realize the Lord may be addressed by various spiritual names. Lord has infinite names. And so many leelas, so many pastimes, so many incarnations, that many is names, unlimited. Namna Makari Bahuda Nij Sarva Shakti. And every name has equal potency as any other name of the Lord. The Lord may be addressed by various spiritual names which are inconceivable to material senses. So when will he be pleased with you? So Srila Prabhupada, in Srimad Bhagavatam, in further cantos, it is clearly explained that Krishna has these potencies. We have learned 3 potencies we know, the 3 internal potencies, the 3 spiritual energies basically, 3 spiritual energies and 9 material energies Krishna has, So it is described basically in further cantos. 3 spiritual energies, I think you all might know, Sandini, Samvit and Ladini Shakti. We must have heard. So Sandini, Samvit and Ladini Shakti. Sandini is Sat feature. Existence of the Sat potency of the Lord, so personified by Lord Balram. Samvit is the Chit Shakti, the knowledge potency, spiritual knowledge, of course. So it is personified by Krishna himself. And Ladini Shakti, the Anand, the bliss, the pure Anand is personified by Srimati Radharani. These 3 are spiritual energies and 9 material energies basically. It is described in later cantos, and the names are also given, Vimala, Jnana, Kriya, Yoga, etc., etc. So these are Lord's energies, and here, as I mentioned, it was mentioned that Krishna consciousness is simple, but we have to follow the process. And the 3 things: eagerness, and proper engagement, and proper service attitude. It is not that service is coming and we are hiding our face. Then we need some improvement. So Prabhupada has given some Bhagavad Gita quote. Krishna consciousness is simple if we hear it from the right source. And it starts with hearing. Maya asakta mana partha yogam yunjam madashraya asanshayam samagram mam yatha yasyasi tat shrinu. And shrinvatam svakatha Krishna punya shravana kirtana hridayam sasto yabhadrani vidunoti surta. Everything is like washed out, When we chant the holy name, all our anathas are getting washed away. Slowly, slowly we will get purified. And Krishna is Bhakta Vatsal. Bhakta, devotee. Vatsa is calf. So Bhakta Vatsal, he is like a cow takes care of a calf, he takes care of her. He gives nourishment. What does a cow do? What does a cow does? He gives milk to the calf first of all, and then by giving milk he nourishes the calf. And second thing, have anybody seen? Cow licks the calf. So licking process means removing all the dirt, dust, anarthas. So that when we take shelter, Krishna is Bhakta Vatsal. So he gives us nourishment and he removes all our anarthas. So we have to hearing. It starts with Shranvatam, Swakatha Krishna. Krishna says, when we hear his katha, Krishna says, I am here. When we hear his katha, Krishna says, I am here. He's there. And ye yathamam prapadyate. So he reciprocates in proportion to our surrender. So although Prabhupada says the subject matter is extremely difficult, it becomes easy if we follow the prescribed method. Coming in touch with the Supreme Personality of Godhead is possible through pure devotional service, through association, through hearing, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. Like, Bhakti is there inside everyone. It is dormant. It has to be revived. Prabhupada always says. Like example is given sometimes in hand pump. In summer, the water goes more deep in the earth. So even if we pump, the water does not come out. Then what do? We have not experience of these hand pumps now. No, we get yes.
We put the water from the outside.
We put some water from outside and then pump and then it comes out. So similarly, the bhakti is already inside all of us. But when we get association of pure devotee, when we hear and chant, then this is like giving water to that mouth of the pump. And then we pump and it comes out. So because of many lifetimes of conditioning and attachments and this and that, this bhakti has gone deep down, like the water has gone down. So these three words are important for us. Eagerness, then one is eager, and then Prabhupada also writes here. The material impediments described in these words are but various energies. When a devotee is eager to see the Supreme Lord, he prays to the Lord. Ainanda tanuj kinkaram patitam mam vishme bhavam buddha kripaya tava pada pankaja sthita dhuli sadusham vichintaya. So, and how this will happen? This prayerful feeling, mood, how this will come? By association, by the guru, acharya, senior devotee, counselor, shiksha guru, all these people help us. Like when we go to gym, the trainer there, he guides us what exercise we should do and it will help us. But exercise we have to do it ourselves. So the guru teaches us, acharya tells us, and shiksha guru, counselors. But then we have to do it ourselves. We have to follow that. We cannot, we can take the horse to the river, but horse has to drink by his mouth. The trainer can give the direction, but we have to practice those kinds of exercises what the trainer has said for our betterment, So we should be eager. The lolyam should be there. This beautiful word, Ainanda Tanuj Kinkaram. And then the third point is that service attitude. Proper engagement and proper service attitude. It should be there. Mataji, you want to ask something or say something?
Yes, Mataji, I understood the largest potency of the Lord. It is like enjoying potency of Krishna, Srimati Radharani. Can you please explain Samvit and Sandhini once again?
Yeah, I said there are three spiritual energies, Sandhini, Samvit and Ladini. Ladini Shakti is personified by Srimati Radharani, Samvit by Krishna himself, and Sandhini, which is Sat potency, is by Balram. Yeah, Sat, Chit, Anand. Sandhini, Samvit and Ladini by Balram, Krishna and Radharani. Yeah.
Can you please tell something more about how to understand more about these three potencies of Krishna?
Yes. So Sandhini Shakti is basically the Sat potency, that means the existence of the eternity of Sat feature. We always hear Sachidananda Vigraha. The Lord is Sachidananda Vigraha. He has always these three energies, spiritual energies. So existence, eternal existence of the Supreme Lord. That is Sandhini. Samvit is Chit potency. So basically the spiritual knowledge. That is by Krishna himself. And Ladini is the Shuddha, pure, Anand, bliss. So Srimati Radharani. This is pure Anand, Sandhini, Samvit and Ladini. Three spiritual energies of the Supreme Lord. Yes, shall we go? I'm talking about these three things. In verse number 28, also Prabhupada says, see, he also says, Ladini, Sandhini, Samvit, Vai, Eka, Sarva. In the material world, the spiritual energy of the Supreme Lord is manifested as tapakari, which means causing miseries. Everyone hankers for happiness, but although happiness originally comes from the pleasure potency of the Lord in the material world, because of material activities, the pleasure potency of the Lord becomes a source of misery. Because false happiness we are looking for, therefore we are in distress. So tapakari. So Tapatrayo Mulanam, how when we take shelter of the Supreme Lord? When we take shelter, then tapakari element of misery is vanquished. An example, beautiful example, extracting fire from wood is certainly difficult. Now this analogy is good. Extracting fire from wood is difficult. But the same fire, when the wood gets, it burns the whole wood. See? When the fire comes out, it burns the wood to ashes. Originally, before, it is difficult to bring the fire from the wood, but when the fire comes, it burns the whole wood. Similarly, experiencing the Supreme Lord is extremely difficult for those who does not have devotional inclination. But everything becomes easier for a devotee. Like the fire lag gaya, so it can easily burn the wood to ashes. Prabhupada. Even he was in USA, in Bowery, among all materialistic people, but he was in Vrindavan because of his consciousness. So even in Bowery, he used to say, "I am in Vrindavan." That is that was his consciousness. So even in the material world, if we perform devotional service nicely, we will not be affected by these threefold miseries. So he's praying, "My dear Lord, please be pleased with me so that I may very easily see your transcendental form and potency." And it is said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so merciful. He said, it is the shloka, if we remember Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, difficult thing will become easy. And if we don't remember Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, easiest things will become difficult. So always remember Gauranga. Because he has incarnated, in this Kali Yuga for us to give the direction how we can achieve the goal, the goal of this human birth. Yes, let's move to 29th. We have to cover our 50 verse. Yes, 29th verse.
Anything expressed by material vibrations, anything ascertained by material intelligence, and anything experienced by the material senses or concocted within the material mind is but an effect of the modes of material nature, and therefore has nothing to do with the real nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Lord is beyond the creation of this material world, for he is the source of material qualities and creation as the cause of all causes. He exists before the creation and after the creation. I wish to offer my respectful obeisances unto him.
So the simple thing is, Lord was before creation. So how any material qualification, material intelligence, material calculation is helpful in understanding Lord? It's not possible. He existed when there was no creation. So his name, form, qualities are not materially created. They are all transcendental always. So by material qualification, we will not be able to understand the Supreme Lord. Right? When we purify, our material senses, when we purify and spiritualize basically in one way, then we will be able to understand to some extent. So also we have 4 defects: imperfect senses, teaching propensity, and this and that. We have to purify. Purification is required. We cannot understand by our material senses, material calculation, material intelligence. And in praying, Daksha does not wish material names and forms. He wants to worship the Lord who existed before the creation. So he is worshipping in that way. And Sukadeva Goswami advised Parikshit Maharaj that who desires to be free from all these miseries should hear purely Krishna Katha. So the glories of the Supreme Lord, his activities. That is the only way we can be free of this. We can become free of this materialistic conception. So one must receive knowledge from a person to whom Lord has revealed himself. There is no value in creating an imaginary name like Daridra Narayan he is using. Narayan is always transcendental. How he can become Daridra Narayan? So if somebody makes his own imagination and says something, it is not correct. So we should not follow. Prabhupada is very clear on that. Verse number 30. Yes.
The Supreme Brahman, Krishna, is the ultimate resting place and source of everything. Everything is done by him, everything belongs to him, and everything is offered to him. He is the ultimate objective. And whether acting or causing others to act, he is the ultimate doer. There are many causes, high and low, but since he is the cause of all causes, he is well known as the Supreme Brahman, who existed before all activities. He is one without a second and has no other cause. I therefore offer my respects unto him.
Yes. You know, the son is born of the father. How much ever the father say, still there must be something remaining which the son does not know. Because the father was before son, right? So, Lord existed before all the creation. So, nobody can know him completely. And this is a beautiful word, the cause of all causes. It said, Yasmin, in whom everything rests. Yasmin, so he is the ultimate resting place. Yato, from whom everything emanates. So he is the ultimate source. Everything emanates from him. Matta paratram na anyat. Kinchidasti tanante. And then Yena, by whom everything is enacted. So he is ultimate actor. Yena. Yasya, to whom everything belongs. Yasya. So he is the ultimate proprietor. Yasmai. Yasmai is to whom everything is offered. So he is the ultimate beneficiary of everything. Yat. Yat means who is desired object of every action. He is the ultimate object. He should be the ultimate object. And Ya, who does everything by himself, or he is the ultimate doer. Prabhupada says he is the ultimate doer. The Supreme Lord is everything. Sarva Karan Karanam, cause of all causes. A beautiful word. Yasmin yato yena cha yasya yasme yad yo yatha kurute karyate cha. Yeah. Let's see 31.
Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the all-pervading Supreme Personality of Godhead, who possesses unlimited transcendental qualities, acting from within the core of the hearts of all philosophers who propagate various views. He causes them to forget their own souls while sometimes agreeing and sometimes disagreeing among themselves. Thus, he creates within this material world a situation in which they are unable to come to a conclusion. I offer my obeisance unto him.
Yes. So I request everyone to please switch on their videos. Otherwise, I don't know. And also, you can get some chance to read also. And I would appreciate that. So there are vadis and prativadis, arguments and cross arguments basically. Always there are many philosophies and people are busy in argumenting different kinds of philosophies. But Prabhupada says for devotees, they know ultimate cause is Krishna because all the Vedic scriptures supports this point. So those who argue, basically they are envious, mischievous. They don't follow the supremacy of the Supreme Lord. So therefore, they keep on arguing and they don't want to surrender. So they are great offenders. And because of their offenses, they are always bewildered. They don't have clarity, whom to surrender. So they are always, Vadi and Prativadi, like argument and counter argument, always happening. So they are envious. Prabhupada is very clearly saying they are envious. And this enviousness is not good for our bhakti. Their conclusion is that the entire cosmic manifestation has no controller. It is just working naturally. Thus, they are kept in constant darkness, birth after birth. So, Parashar Muni, says this thing here. Prabhupada is quoting this verse. The demonic speculators cannot understand the transcendental qualities, form, or pastimes, or knowledge, or strength, and all these 6 opulences, basically. That was also given by Parashar Muni. They cannot understand this. Who can understand? Those who are free from material contamination. They can only understand. Others can only speculate or argue or keep on discussing and not surrender. So let's move to 32. And then two more, then his prayers end.
There are two parties, namely the theist and the atheist. The theist who accepts the super soul finds the spiritual cause through mystic yoga. The Sankhya however, who merely analyzes the material elements, comes to a conclusion of impersonalism and does not accept a supreme cause, whether Bhagwan, Paramatma, or even Brahman. Instead, he is preoccupied with the superfluous external activities of material nature. Ultimately, however, both parties demonstrate the absolute truth because although they offer opposing statements, their object is the same ultimate cause. They are both approaching the same supreme Brahman, to whom I offer my respectful obeisances.
Yes. So devotees don't care. They are so busy because they are so convinced Supreme Lord is Sri Krishna, and they are busy in serving. So there are Nirakar and there are Sakar. There are two kinds of people. Nirakar means those who accept God has no form, and Akar means those who accept that God has form. But the form is a common factor, Prabhupada says. They discuss about this form, astiti, nastiti cha. They discuss about this. So, theist and atheist, but the subject matter is same. The devotee tries to come directly in touch with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The yogis tries to find the super soul within the heart by their meditation. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagwaniti, Shabdati. Different grades are there, as mentioned in Bhagavad Gita 2.2 also. So the absolute truth is one. There are these different students studying the same subject, but the category is different. They are not of the same category. Prabhupada writes very distinctly, very clearly. Subject matter is same. So personality of Godhead is Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha. That means Vigraha means form. It has a form of Sat Chit Ananda. As we just discussed, eternity, knowledge, and bliss. Sankhyaites or Jnanis deny the material form. Nirakar. They say he has no material form. Devotees also say, yes, Lord has no material form. He has spiritual form. His actions and his activities are all Janma Karma Tame Divyam. He has no material form. Whenever he comes in his original spiritual body. When he comes as Govinda, Krishna, he has his eternal blissful spiritual body. So they also accept the same. He has no material form. So the conception of the absolute truth without hands and legs, or conception of the absolute truth with hands and legs, are apparently contradictory, but they both coincide with the same truth, same subject matter, the absolute truth. Prabhupada says, like we see Virat Rupa also. Virat Rupa is, yes, it's a Lord form, but it is not a permanent form, right? It is said it is Naimittika. Virat form, I think we discussed last time also a lot. Virat form is Naimittika. Naimittika means it is under certain conditions it is revealed. So it is not permanent. Permanent, eternal is Krishna. Vedum Kwadantam Arvinda Dalaya Taksham, what we say. That is his permanent form. So let's go to 33. 33 words, translation.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is inconceivably opulent, who is devoid of all material names, forms, and pastimes, and who is all pervading, is specially merciful to the devotees who worship his lotus feet. Thus, he exhibits transcendental forms and names with his different pastimes. May that Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose form is eternal and full of knowledge and bliss, be merciful upon me.
Yes. He is devoid of all material names, forms, and pastimes. He is all pervading, especially merciful to his devotees who worship his lotus feet. So he has no material form, and he is especially merciful to Yo Anugrahartham. Anugrahartham means to show his causeless mercy to Bhajatam Padamulam, who is worshipping his Padamulam, his lotus feet. Now, Anam Rupa Bhagwan Ananta. So He has no material name. He has no material form. His form, his name are always, if we, Prabhupada always say this, here, Coca-Cola, we keep saying there's no benefit, no rasa. But if we take Lord's name, because the Lord's name is Lord himself, it is not material, basically. So it has its potential, it has its effect. So he exhibits in his transcendental name and forms, Namani, Rupani, cha Janma Karma bhi, So in his different appearance, in his different incarnation and pastimes, he appears with different names and his different transcendental forms. And to show mercy towards his devotees who worship his lotus feet, like Amrish Maharaj. What is Sarve Mana Krishna Padara Vindyo Vatanti Vaikunta Gunanu Varnane Karau Hare Mandir Marjanadishu Shrutim Chakara Chutpat Katodaya. And every line says how he was using his eyes, nose, ears, tongue, everything in Lord's service. Mana Krishna Padara Vindya. Man in the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. So it's a beautiful example. Amrish Maharaj, even in difficult situation like the Rasa Muni came, but he was sick in the Supreme Lord. So Lord is very pleased to serve. He immediately sent Sudarshan Chakra. So he's especially merciful to the devotees who worship his lotus feet. So I offer my respectful obeisances to him. Okay. Next verse we go. 34.
As the air carries various characteristics of the physical elements like the aroma of a flower or colors resulting from a mixture of dust in the air, the Lord appears through lower systems of worship according to one's desires, although he appears as the demigods and not in his original form. What is the use of these other forms? May the original Supreme Personality of Godhead please fulfill my desires.
Yes, thank you. So as the air carries various characteristics of the physical elements like the aroma of a flower or colors, the air carries, different. Similarly, Lord also, this is also his merciful nature, Lord also appears through lower systems of worship also to please, according to one's desires. Although he appears as the demigods and not in his original form, but he's telling what is the use of those other forms? Let me worship the Supreme Lord only. So directly, Prabhupada also says, we don't need to go here and there, basically. Direct process is simple and, sure shot. The Bhagwan feature, engaging all our senses in worshipping, in serving the Supreme Lord. The impersonalist. Now, the impersonalists imagine the various demigods to be forms of the Lord. For example, the Mayavadis worship the 5 demigods Panchopasana. So these 5, Vishnu, Shiva, Ganesha, Surya, and Durga. They worship this Panchopasana. Prabhupada does not recommend this for devotees. Vaishnavas, they worship the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. He did not. And Daksha also wanted to worship not an imaginary form, but the supreme form of Lord Krishna. Clearly, it is written here. And it is important for us also. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments that this verse is especially meant for the impersonalists who think that he himself is the supreme because there is no difference between the living being and the God. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu strictly, warned us to be away from these conceptions of Mayavadi conceptions. And Prabhupada says, this is not knowledge actually, this is foolishness. This verse is especially meant for those who have such kind of mentality, whose knowledge has been stolen by illusion, Maya or Pratagyana. So it is very clear that we have to worship the Supreme Lord and not anyone else. Though Lord appears in different forms to fulfill the desires of those living beings, but when we know this is the best, we should work for that. Now here from last 34th verse, he says, okay, yes, what is the use of other forms? What is the use of worshipping the other forms? May that original Supreme Personality I worship, and those who fulfill all my desires and everybody's desires. And then 35 to 39, Sri Shuka Ovacha. Now the beautiful thing. After these prayers, Hamsa Guhya prayers, he finished, Lord is pleased. See, Lord is so he gets pleased when we offer prayers every day, but we only think it's mechanical and then we don't take it so seriously. But when we offer it nicely, the Lord is pleased and he reveals himself in some way. Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी।
Yes, done.
माता जी जैसे हमारे टेम्पल्स में जो डिटीज होते हैं, जैसे वृंदावन में राधा श्याम सुंदर या राधा माधव, मायापुर में, उससे लोग अट्रैक्ट होते हैं, उनका वर्शिप करते हैं। तो क्या भगवत धाम में अगर हम जाएंगे, गलती से अगर चले गए, तो क्या इसी फॉर्म में भगवान दिखेंगे, कुछ और फॉर्म होगा भगवान का? मतलब क्योंकि हम अटैच तो एक पर्टिकुलर भगवान के डिटीज से हो जाते हैं, कोई किस डिटीज से, कोई राधा वृंदावन चंद्र से, कोई किस डिटीज से, तो क्या उसी रूप में दिखेंगे या कुछ अलग फॉर्म होगा भगवान का?
Prabhuji, I will answer according to my understanding and whatever I heard. Lord has actually 3-4 verses before only, Prabhupada was writing, he has so many names: Giridhari, Madhusudan, Nanda Tanuja, and as you said, Radha Madhav, Radha Vrindavan Chandra, or Radha Raman, or whoever. So Lord has this is Ek Pad Vibhuti we see here. What is 3-pad Vibhuti? Huge. So how one Lord and so many people just looking and serving the Lord? So he also has variegatedness there. So whosoever you are connected, you will remain connected to that form and you will serve that form. He has no limitation that he cannot expand in that form. So whichever form you are connected with, whichever Leela, whichever Rasa, you will be engaged there. You will go ahead in that service. So that is my understanding. So people are attached to Radha Madhav, people are attached to Radha Vrindavan Chandra here, to Radha Kunj Bihari or to Radha Gopinath. So as we progress, yes, it is true. We really get attached more and more to that particular form. Although all forms are, comes from him only. Same, yes. Yes, Prabhuji. So
All forms are transcendental.
Yeah.
As you are saying, Mataji, all forms are transcendental or are real, but we attach to a particular form of deities. Ji Mataji.
Yes. Okay, so the next verse 35 to 39 is a beautiful, beautiful verse, beautiful description of the Lord. आप देखोगे भागवतम में, in every place, whenever the Lord comes, the description is given. Sometimes he comes in with 2 hands, 4 hands, with some associate, or how is yellow dhoti and all the beautiful aspects, everything. So these 4 verses are really good to meditate upon. Which form the Lord came to give darshan to Daksha? So let's read. Somebody can read this.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Sri Shukdev Goswami said, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, who is extremely affectionate to his devotees, was very pleased by the prayers offered by Daksha, and thus he appeared at that holy place known as Agamarshana. O Maharaj Parikshit, best of the Kuru dynasty, the Lord's lotus feet rested on the shoulders of his carrier, Garud, and he appeared with 8 long, mighty, very beautiful arms. In his hands, he held a disc, conch shell, sword, shield, arrow, bow, rope, and club. In each hand, a different weapon, all brilliantly shining. His garments were yellow, and his bodily hue deep bluish. His eyes and face were very cheerful, and from his neck to his feet hung a long garland of flowers. His chest was decorated with the Kaustubh jewel and the mark of Srivatsa. On his head was a gorgeous round helmet, and his ears were decorated with earrings resembling sharks. All these ornaments were uncommonly beautiful. The Lord wore a golden belt on his waist. bracelets on his arms, rings on his fingers, and ankle bells on his feet. Thus decorated by various ornaments, Lord Hari, who is attractive to all the living entities of the three worlds, is known as Purushottam, the best personality. He was accompanied by great devotees like Narada, Nanda, and all the principal demigods, led by the heavenly king Indra and the residents of various upper planetary systems such as Siddhalok, Gandharvalok, and Charanalok, situated on both sides of the Lord, and behind him as well. These devotees offered him prayers continuously.
Thank you so much, Madhaji. So this is very beautiful to meditate upon. So maybe in the night we can read this verse and meditate. His form, which form he came. Beautiful, waves and golden bells and garlands, flower garland and this and that. Important point is he was accompanied by great devotees. So when the Lord came, he was accompanied by Narada, Nanda, and principal demigods and heavenly king Indra and residents of various planetary systems. And they were all standing behind the Lord and praising, offering prayers continuously. Can imagine in mind, Okay. Let's go to 40 and 41 together. Somebody can read. Somebody else who has not read before. I mean, we have hardly 20 minutes left, so you all can maybe quickly focus here and then do other work later. Okay, somebody.
That wonderful and effulgent form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Prajapati Daksha was first somewhat afraid, but then he was very pleased to see the Lord, and he fell to the ground like a stick to offer his respects to the Lord.
When the Lord comes in front, we don't know, what to do. First thing is, don't know, just put away, offer your obeisances, and then think, offer prayers, something. Yeah, so he was very pleased to see the Lord. He fell flat to the ground, done with. And then 41 says, yes.
As rivers are filled by water flowing from a mountain, all of Daksha's senses were filled with pleasure. Because of his highly elevated happiness, Daksha could not say anything but simply remained flat on the ground.
Good safe position. If you don't know what to say, just keep saying obeisances. Remain flat on the ground. So that's what, because of highly, this elevated happiness, he could not say anything. Simply remained on the ground. Complete happiness. Prabhupada says, like Dhruv Maharaj also, he said, I don't know what to say, I have nothing to ask from you, O dear Lord. I'm completely satisfied. So here, Daksha also, he was flat. 42 words.
Although Prajapati Daksh could not say anything, when the Lord who knows everyone's heart saw his devotee prostrate in that manner and desiring to increase the population, he addressed him as follows.
Yeah, so to the seniors, we should always be submissive, and seniors will do. We should just follow their instructions. So here also, Lord knows everyone's heart. So he started speaking. He addressed him. Text 43.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O most fortunate Prachetas, because of your great faith in me, you have attained the supreme devotional ecstasy. Indeed, because of your austerities, combined with exalted devotion, your life is now successful. You have achieved complete perfection.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji. It is Prachetas. So Pracheta and Pracheta. Pracheta is the sons of Prachetas, basically. So, most fortunate Prachetas. So he is telling, you have attained the supreme devotional ecstasy. Because of your austerities and devotion, your life is now successful. What is the success? To have darshan of the Lord. And that you have achieved. This is great success. Lord's darshan. All as we discussed, before also, all kinds of yogis, jnana yogi, ashtanga yogi, karma yogi, whatever, eventually have to attain this devotional perfection where they can see the Supreme Lord. So Bhakti Yoga, everything culminates in Bhakti before they can go to the transcendental abode from where no one can return and no one wants to return, basically. So, Text 44.
My dear Prajapati Daksh, you have performed extreme austerities for the welfare and growth of this world. My desire also is that everyone within this world be happy. I am therefore very pleased with you because you are endeavoring to fulfill my desire for the welfare of the entire world.
Yes, so this is Lord's desire. Now, Lord does not want living entity to live in the material world. But why here is telling, this is my desire to create progeny. Question. This is my desire. And Prabhupada is answering in the purport, of course. Why does the creation take place in such a way that the living entities are put into conditioned life? Coming here means birth, old age, disease, death, Adi Devik, Adi Bhautik, Adhyatmik. But then why Krishna is, Lord is telling, you have performed extremely, austerities for the welfare and growth. My desire also is that everyone within this world be happy. I am therefore very pleased with you because you are endeavoring to fulfill my desire for the welfare of the entire world. So, Prabhupada is answering this. Living entities who come in contact with the material world are meant to be corrected because they were rebellious. So to correct them, they have to give this facility. To give this facility, these Prajapatis, they have to increase the progeny, to bring those living entities, to give them the body so that they can utilize their body and not misuse it. So, all the living entities within the material world have revolted against the service of the Lord. The material world may have, they have revolted against the service of the Lord, and therefore they remain within the material world as ever conditioned, nitya bad. But there is a chance, of course, of their being liberated. But nevertheless, the conditioned souls not taking advantage of this opportunity continue in this cycle. So the main point here is what we have to understand is the purpose of Lord's plan or Lord's desire. Here. So purpose is we need to understand behind this process of creation. It's a big process, no? Creation process. But the purpose is just to rectify the rebellious souls, those who have forgotten. Because the mentality is, not agreeing with the Lord, the will of the Lord. The Lord wants them, come, I will provide you everything. Ma Shucha. So Krishna is the supreme master, proprietor, and controller, but they want to become the master and controller. They want to try. So Krishna sent us here. Okay, try. So he created all this. So this is the point Prabhupada is explaining. This is the desire of the Lord to bring this rebellious soul here and get them revived. And Prajapati Daksha is trying to benefit the conditioned souls by begetting them to give them this opportunity, this chance, so that they can rectify, they can purify. Prabhupada has given a beautiful purport. If one gives the conditioned souls a chance to become Krishna consciousness, all his activities are approved by the Supreme Lord. So for us, as a preacher, it is important. We also should share this knowledge. If one gives the conditioned soul a chance to become Krishna consciousness, Lord is pleased with you. So therefore, he is pleased with Daksha also, because he is bringing those living entities. That service he is doing. And for us, Prabhupada says, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, we should preach to all towns and villages. This Harinam should go on. And Prabhupada said, I'm very pleased when many conversations and letters he has mentioned where he says to individual devotee, I'm very pleased, print books. So your print and distribute books. I'm very pleased because it is the instruction of my Guru Maharaj. Of course, read also. So that is my real pleasure, Prabhupada says. So Krishna is also pleased when we bring the conditioned souls under his shelter. That's what he's telling here. Okay. Prabhupada says in Bhagavad Gita 18th chapter, for one who explains the supreme secret to devotees, there is no servant in this world more dear to me. We will become so dear to the Lord when we preach this Krishna consciousness to all other conditioned souls. 45 verse.
Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, the Manus, and all other demigods in the higher planetary systems, and you Prajapatis who are increasing the population, are working for the benefit of all living entities. Thus, your expansions Thus, you extensions of my material energy are incarnations of my various qualities.
Yes. So originally that was the service given to Brahmaji, and Brahmaji as a secondary creator. He and his descendants, he created all Prajapatis and all main living entities. Basically, first he created these 10, including Narada, of course. So for expansion, for increasing the progeny. So here it is said, Swamsha and Vivinnamsha. Swamsha means the Vishnu Tattva. When Lord comes, like, Nashinga, Matsya, like Vishnu Tattva. And Vivinnamsha is Jiva Tattva, but empowered. Those who are empowered. And Prabhupada also says, Vibhuti. Those who are engaged in the service of the Lord are extraordinary, and they are called Vibhuti. So, Vibhuti, those living entities who are specially empowered to act on behalf of the Lord is called Vibhuti. Whereas the Vishnu Tattva incarnations like Matsya Avatar and Kurma Avatar, they are called Vaibhav, directly Vishnu Tattvas. And here it is said, Daksha Kobi, Supreme Lord, is praising and keeping him in the level of Lord Brahma. That Daksha, is not on the same level as Lord Brahma and Shiva, but still is compared to them because he engages in the service of the Lord. So service is important. And Prabhupada says one more important point. Everything is not expected from everyone. Wherever you are, do according to your best. Lord will be pleased. Example is given of Hanuman and Squirrel. Everybody cannot be Brahma, but we can do according to our capacity, and then that is our success. That is our, pleasing to the Supreme Lord. So regardless of whether materially high or materially low, anyone engaged in the service of the Lord is spiritually very dear to him. Yes, Mataji, you can help everyone.
Mataji, you said also earlier, but it's prachetas or prachetas? Prachetas or prachetas?
Prachetas means son of Prachetas. That is Daksha.
Okay, Daksha.
Yes. So text number 46.
My dear Brahmana, austerity in the form of meditation is my heart. Vedic knowledge in the form of hymns and mantras constitute my body. As spiritual activities and aesthetic emotions are my actual form. The ritualistic ceremonies and sacrifices, when properly conducted, are the various limbs of my body. The unseen good fortune proceeding from pious and spiritual activities constitutes my mind, and the demigods who execute my orders in various departments are my life and soul.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji. So his heart, his body, his form, his limbs, his mind, his life and soul, he has described. What are all these things? Like his heart is the austerity in the form of meditation of my, austerity is in the form of meditation is my heart. So one after another, he has explained his different bodily limbs, basically. Mind, form, body, limbs, etc. Prabhupada is telling one important thing to understand is, okay, Hridayam, Tanur, Anga, and so on. So for us to understand, if one is very eager to see the Supreme Lord, immediately, face to face, he can see the Supreme Lord through this description. Here is the heart, here is the mind, here is the limb. What is the limb? The ritualistic ceremonies and sacrifices, when properly conducted, are the various limbs of my body. So when you do that, you are actually seeing the limbs of the body, Supreme Lord's body. And my mind and the demigods who execute my orders in various departments are my life and soul. Austerity is my heart. So all these things, if we really want to see the Lord, then we have to perform these things one by one. Everything has been categorized beautifully. Prabhupada says, all this description means Lord has formed. Tabhi to he has mind and limbs and heart and, body and my life and everything, life, air. Yeah. So text 47. Translation.
Before the creation of this cosmic manifestation, I alone existed with my specific spiritual potencies. Consciousness was then unmanifested, just as one's consciousness is unmanifested during the time of sleep.
Yes. Now, if we see the Sanskrit words, you may recognize, you may remember something. Aham evagre, aham evasam evagre, nanyat kinchantaram bahi. You remember something? First line, aham evasam evagre.
चतुश्लोकी भागवतम में भी आते हैं.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. This is Chatushloki Bhagavatam, second canto. And that's what the same point he's telling. Before the creation, I alone existed. That's what, Chatushloki Bhagavatam, Bhagwan mein, Brahma ji ko jo bole the in second canto. So he's telling initially only I existed. Aham evasam. Aham ev asam. Aham ev. I only, asam. I was only there. Certainly, agre, in the beginning, right? So initially only I existed. And, all these Purusha Avatara, all these other Avataras, universe, Brahma, Shiva, all the living entities, all the demigods, they did not exist. The universe itself did not exist. So I existed before the creation of the universe. So he is beyond the creation, maintenance, and annihilation. He is always there during creation, before creation, during maintenance time, during annihilation, and after annihilation also. So, that is a beautiful verse. We can go back and connect with this. Verse number 2.9.33, matches with this word. One can go back and refer. The personality of God in Vrindavan is the same Krishna who existed always. So there is no actual difference of external and internal for the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because he is always Sachidananda Vigraha. Even if he comes, he incarnates, he is always in the spiritual form. He is Sachidananda Vigraha. He comes in his own original body, which never changes. Our body changes, birth, old age, disease, growth, reproduction, and dwindle and death. But his body never changes. He has a spiritual body. Ordinary living being assumes material bodies, but the Supreme Lord does not. So the point here is, after the annihilation of everything, the Supreme Lord remains the same in his original form. Other living entities who have material bodies, it get mixed with the other matter, Panch Mahabhut. The subtle form remains with the body of the Lord, right? In the Suptavastha. And when again creation happens, we get the body and we again carry on with our karma, and with our activities. Ordinary living entities remain asleep until the next creation. Prabhupada writes. So, when the material body is annihilated, the spirit soul remains in a subtle form which later assumes another material body. This is for the conditioned soul. But the Supreme Lord remains eternally in his original consciousness and in his original spiritual body, eternal body. Yes, Madam.
We are talking about here Krishna's form, that he is ever youth. So there are Komar, Poganda, and Kaishore age. In Golok Vrindavan, Krishna is always of 16 years or something, particular months. So, and Mataji, I heard in that when there was a Mahabharat, so the Krishna age was like 125, and he used to look like only 25. So, Mataji, 16 years age or 25 years age is same age? Means what is the highest age Krishna looks like?
And he is same, ever youthful, whatever age you consider, 16 or 25. He is ever youthful.
Okay.
He never gets old body or diseased body or smelling body.
So in Golok Vrindavan, he's 16 only, but when he comes, he descends on this planet, he can look like 25, like this.
As I said, 16 and 25 is not much difference for him. He is always youthful. And according to the time and the need, he takes incarnation in various forms, in various, mm, there are many descriptions, of course. So sometimes he just come like Nrsimhadev. No childhood, no growing, comes very short. Sometimes he comes like childhood, a baby, and then he grows. Rama and lot of activities in Krishna, Krishna fasting. It's his choice, but he is always ever youthful because he has his spiritual body and his activities are all transcendental.
Yeah, but I was thinking like when if we see if we talking about Krishna, so I'm from my material mind. I'm just thinking like if I see a boy of age 16 and he's a boy and age of 25 he's a man like this. So there is a difference, Mataji. So can you please tell that how Krishna looks like? 25, 125, 25. Krishna looks like a man or a boy?
Krishna looks like ever youthful again. So you want to see him as a young boy or a man? Depends. If he is married, he might look like a man. When he is in Vrindavan playing, he look like a young boy. So according to the pastimes, he can be visioned, in different ways. Yeah. Anybody wants to add something to her point? Yes. Okay. I think we move ahead, ma'am. Yeah. 7 o'clock is done, but 3 more verses, so we can do. So who is speaking to whom? Supreme Lord giving darshan and speaking to Daksha. He is pleased and he is telling 48 verse. I think we are in 48 verse. I am the reservoir of unlimited potency and therefore I am known as unlimited or all-pervading. From my material energy, the cosmic manifestation appeared within me, and in this universal manifestation appeared the chief being Lord Brahma, who is your source and is born of material mother. Who is not born of material mother. He is Swayam, he is born out of Lord's, navel and like that. So, the main word here is Ananta. Lord is known as Ananta. It ends with this word Ananta. Supreme Lord is always with his various potencies. He is complete, even though many incarnations, many things come, Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vashishyate. Even the whole unit comes from him, he still remains the whole, right? Because he is Ananta. His qualities is Ananta. He is fully control of all his energies. And he is always accompanied by his energies. Like Prabhupada writes, the first, I'm sorry, time is up, but I think we will finish. 5 minutes is okay to finish the chapter. Here, telling I'm the reservoir of unlimited potency. We saw it, omniscience and unlimitedness, and therefore I am known as unlimited or all-pervading. And Lord Brahma, who is your source, is not born of a material mother. He is Swayambhu. He is born of Garbhodaksha Vishnu. And he took the charge of progeny, creation. I gave him the charge. And I'm pleased by you also. You are helping him. So he is going to give him a benediction or some gift. Let's see what is that. Verse number 49-50. When the chief lord of the universe, Lord Brahma, having been inspired by my energy, was attempting to create, he thought himself incapable. Therefore, I gave him advice, and in accordance with my instructions, he underwent extremely difficult austerities. And because of these austerities, the great Lord Brahma was able to create 9 personalities, including you. So I give you the verse number 3, 12, 22. You can note down this. there's a description of who all came from Brahma in the beginning. How? First the 4 Kumaras, and then they did not wanted to, grow old or increase the progeny. So Rudra came out of the anger of Brahmaji, and then Brahma created from his mind these 9 personalities. All the 9 personalities names are written in this 3, 12, 22. If you go in these verses from beginning. So Bhrigu, Pulatsya, Pulaha, Kritu, Angira, Marichi, Daksha also, Atri. So they are all came from different parts of the body of Brahmaji. So 9 main beginning, putra of Brahmaji. So that's how he came. He's telling, and how? By doing austerity. Austerities, Brahmaji also did austerities. And there are different description now of austerities of Bhagavad Gita. So Srila Prabhupada, here writes, we cannot do anything, we cannot achieve anything without tapasya. Everybody, Rishabh Dev's prayer, what is that? Teaching. Tapo divyam putra kayena. This human body we have got is for tapasya, to achieve the highest goals. And Prabhupada also did great tapasya to go to foreign country, USA at that time, and to preach everyone and give this. It's a great tapasya. But without tapasya, you will not achieve anything. He's giving the example of Brahmaji. He did the great tapasya, and then on my order, he, created all of you. Oh, my dear son, Daksha, Prajapati, Panchajanya has a daughter named Asini. So here, whom I offer to you so that you may accept her as your wife. Now again, increase karna progeny, accept this lady. Now unite in sexual life as man and woman, and in this way, by sexual intercourse, you will be able to beget hundreds of children in the womb of this girl to increase the population. So that was his job. That's why he did austerities. So Lord was pleased, and Lord gave Askini to Daksha, so that now you increase the progeny, and by my blessings, you will beget hundreds and thousands of children as much as you can. Go ahead, like that. So, by Lord's blessing, this is his service. We should not, Prabhupada writes, the Americans or foreigners should not think that to advance in Krishna consciousness, we should also do this service. Only we should engage in this activity for begetting Krishna conscious children, otherwise not, for no other purpose. Prabhupada said very clearly to clarify. This Daksha is doing the service of increasing the progeny at the beginning of this Manvantara. So that is his job. And after you give birth to so many hundreds and thousands of children, they will also be captivated by my energy, illusory energy, and will engage like you in sexual intercourse. But because of my mercy to you and them, they will also be able to give me presentations in devotion. So this is his mercy, his blessing. Go ahead, increase the progeny, and you will get lots of children, and they also will do the same service. Sukadeva Goswami continues, after the creator of the entire universe, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, had spoken in this way in the presence of Prajapati Daksha, he immediately disappeared as if an object experienced in a dream. Kam Khatam, and then he gave the blessings and the lady and then the girl, and then he disappeared. And now the Daksha's work starts, which is chapter 5. How he, they get children and what happens to those children, etc. Thank you all very much. I'm grateful for this extra 8 minutes. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad ki jai. Panchakalpatarubhya Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Shri Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna everyone. Done with pranam. See you same time tomorrow, 4 o'clock.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.